Sai Rama, thank you all so much for joining us on the auspicious occasion of New Year Satsang. So we'll be starting off the Satsang with the Veda chanting, followed by experience sharing by Brother Vineet. And then after the experience sharing, we'll be having bhajans followed by Maha Mangalaharti at midnight. So we'll go ahead and get started with the Veda chanting. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om. Om Gananam Tva Ganapatigam Havamahe Kavim Kavinamupamashravastamam Jyestarajam Brahmanam Brahmanaspata Anashunvannoti Visida Sadhanam Prano Devi Saraswati Vajevirvajanivati Dinama Vitrayavatu Ganeshaya Namaha Saraswatye Namaha Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om. Narayana Upanishad.
ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः ॐ अधपुरुषो ह वै नारायणो कामयत प्रजा सृजेयेति नारायणात् प्राणो जायते मनः सर्वेन्द्रियाणि च खं वायुर्ज्योतिरापः पृथिवी विश्वस्य धारिणी नारायणात् ब्रह्मा जायते नारायणात् रुद्रो जायते नारायणादिन्द्रो जायते नारायणा प्रजापतयः प्रजायन्ते नारायणाद्वादशादित्या रुद्रावसवः सर्वाणि च छन्दागुंसि नारायणादेव समुत्पद्यन्ते नारायणे प्रवर्तन्ते नारायणे प्रलीयन्ते ॐ मधनित्यो नारायणः ब्रह्मा नारायणः शिवश्च नारायणः शक्रश्च नारायणः या वा पृथिव्यौ च नारायणः कालश्च नारायणः दिशश्च नारायणः ऊर्ध्वश्च नारायणः अधश्च नारायणः अन्तर्बहिश्च नारायणः नारायण एवेदगुं सर्वं यद्भूतं यच्च भव्यं निष्कलो निरञ्जनो निर्विकल्पो निराख्यातः शुद्धो देव एको नारायणः न द्वितीयोऽस्ति कश्चित् य एवं वेद स विष्णुरेव भवति स विष्णुरेव भवति ओमित्यग्रे व्याहरेत् नम इति पश्चात् नारायणायेत्युपरिष्टात् ओमित्येकाक्षरं नम इति द्वे अक्षरे नारायणायेति पञ्चाक्षराणि एतद्वै नारायणस्याष्टाक्षरम् पदम् यो ह वै नारायणस्याष्टाक्षरम् पदमध्येति अनपभ्रुवः सर्वमायुरेति विन्दते प्राजापत्यगुं रायस्पोषम् गौपत्यम् ततो मृतत्वमश्नुते ततो मृतत्वमस्तुत इति य एवम् वेद प्रत्यगानन्दम् ब्रह्म पुरुषम् प्रणवस्वरूपम् अकार उकारमकार इति तानेकदा समभरत्तदेतदोमिति यमुक्त्वा मुच्यते योगी जन्म संसारबन्धनात् ॐ नमो नारायणायेति मन्त्रोपासकः भुवनलोकम् गमिष्यति तदिदम् परम् पुण्डरीकम् विज्ञानघनम् तस्मात् तदिदावन्मात्रम् ब्रह्मण्यो देवकी पुत्रो ब्रह्मण्यो मधुसूदनो सर्वभूतस्तमेकम् नारायणम् कारणरूपमकारः परब्रह्मो एतदधर्वशिरो योधीते प्रातरधीयानो रात्रिकृतम् पापम् नाशयति सायमधीयानो दिवसकृतम् पापम् नाशयति माध्यम् दिनमादित्या विमुखो धीयानः पञ्चपातकोपपातकात् प्रमुच्यते सर्ववेदपारायण पुण्यम् लभते नारायण सायुज्यमवाप्नोति नारायण सायुज्यमवाप्नोति य एवम् वेद इत्युपनिषत् ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यम् करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः शिवोपासना मन्त्रम् निधनपतये नमः निधनपतान्तिकाय नमः ऊर्ध्वाय नमः ऊर्ध्वलिङ्गाय नमः हिरण्याय नमः हिरण्यलिङ्गाय नमः सुवर्णाय नमः सुवर्णलिङ्गाय नमः दिव्याय नमः दिव्यलिङ्गाय नमः भवाय नमः भवलिङ्गाय नमः सर्वाय नमः सर्वलिङ्गाय नमः शिवाय नमः शिवलिङ्गाय नमः ज्वलाय नमः ज्वललिङ्गाय नमः आत्माय नमः आत्मलिङ्गाय नमः परमाय नमः परमलिङ्गाय नमः एतत् सोमस्य सूर्यस्य सर्वलिङ्गस्थापयति पाणिमन्त्रम् पवित्रम् सद्यो जातम् प्रपद्यामि सद्यो जाताय वै नमो नमः भवे भवे नाति भवे भवत्स्वमाम् भवोद्भवाय नमः वामदेवाय नमो ज्येष्ठाय नमः श्रेष्ठाय नमो रुद्राय नमः कालाय नमः कलविकरणाय नमो बलविकरणाय नमो बलाय नमो बलप्रमथनाय नमः सर्वभूतधमनाय नमो मनोन्मनाय नमः अघोरेभ्यो दघोरेभ्यो घोरघोरतरेभ्यः सर्वेभ्यो सर्वेभ्यो नमस्ते अस्तु रुद्ररूपेभ्यः ॐ तत्पुरुषाय विद्महे महादेवाय धीमहि तन्नो रुद्रः प्रचोदयात् ईशानः सर्वविद्यानाम् ईश्वरः सर्वभूतानां ब्रह्माधिपतिर्ब्राह्मणोऽधिपतिर्ब्रह्मा शिवो मे अस्तु सदा शिवो ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः दुर्गा सूक्तम् ॐ जातवेदसे सुनवाम सोममराति यतो निदहाति वेदः स नः पर्षदति दुर्गानि विश्वानावेव सिन्धुं दुरितात्यग्निः तामग्निवर्णां तपसा ज्वलन्तीं वैरोचनीं कर्मफलेषु जुष्टाम् दुर्गां देवीगुं शरणमहं प्रपद्ये सुतरसि तरसे नमः अग्ने त्वं पारयानव्यो अस्मान् स्वस्तिभिरति दुर्गाणि विश्वा पूश्च पृथ्वी बहुला नभुर्वी भवतो कायतनयाय संयोः विश्वानि नो दुर्गः जातवेदः सिन्धुं ननावादुरितातिपर्षि अग्ने अत्रिवन्मनसा गृणानो स्माकं बोध्यविता तनूनाम् ऋतनाजितगुं सहमानमुग्रमग्निगुं भुवेम परमात्सदस्तात् स नः पर्षदति दुर्गाणि विश्वाक्षामद्देवो अतिदुरितात्यग्निः प्रत्नोषि कमीड्यो अध्वरेषु सनाश्च होता नव्यश्च सत्सि स्वाञ्चाग्ने तनुवं पिप्रयस्वास्मभ्यं च सौभगमायजस्व गोभिर्जुष्टमयुजो निषिक्तं तवेन्द्र विष्णोरनुसञ्चरेम नाकस्य पृष्ठमभिसंवसानो वैष्णवीं लोक इह मादयन्ता ॐ कात्यायनाय विद्महे कन्याकुमारि धीमहि तन्नो दुर्गिः प्रचोदयात् ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः श्रीसूक्तम् ॐ हिरण्यवर्णां हरिणीं सुवर्णरजतस्रजां चन्द्रां हिरण्मयीं लक्ष्मीं जातवेदो महावः तां महावः जातवेदो लक्ष्मीमनपगामिनीं यस्यां हिरण्यं विन्देयं गामस्वं पुरुषानहम् अश्वपूर्वां रथमद्यां हस्तिनाथप्रबोधिनीं श्रियं देवीमुपह्वये श्रीर्महादेवीर्जुषताम् कांसोऽस्मितां हिरण्यप्राकारामार्द्रां ज्वलन्तीं तृप्तां तर्पयन्तीं पद्मे स्थितां पद्मवर्णां तामिहोपह्वये श्रियम् चन्द्रां प्रभासां यशसा ज्वलन्तीं श्रियं लोके देवजुष्टामुदारां तां पद्मिनीमीं शरणमहं प्रपद्ये अलक्ष्मीर्मे नश्यतां त्वां ऋणे आदित्यवर्णे तपसोऽधिजातो वनस्पतिस्तव वृक्षोऽथ बिल्वः तस्य फलानि तपसानुगन्तु मायान्तरायाश्च बाह्या अलक्ष्मीः उपैतु मां देवसखकीर्तिश्च मणिना सह प्रादुर्भूतोऽस्मि राष्ट्रेऽस्मिन् कीर्तिमृद्धिं ददातु मे क्षुत्पिपासामलां ज्येष्ठामलक्ष्मीं नाशयाम्यहम् अभूतिमसमृद्धिं च सर्वां निर्नुद मे गृहात् गन्धद्वारां दुरादर्शां नित्यपुष्टां करीषिणीं ईश्वरीगुं सर्वभूतानां तामिहोपह्वये श्रियं मनसः काममाकूतिं वाचः सत्यमसीमहि पशूनां रूपमन्नस्य मयि श्रीः श्रयतां यशः कर्दमेन प्रजा भूता मयि सम्भव कर्दम श्रियं वासय मे कुले मातरं पद्ममालिनीम् आपसृजन्तु स्निग्धानि चिक्लीतवस मे गृहे निज देवीं मातरं श्रियं वासय मे कुले आर्द्रां पुष्करिणीं पुष्टिं पिङ्गळां पद्ममालिनीं चन्द्रां हिरण्मयीं लक्ष्मीं जातवेदो महावः आर्द्रां यः कर्णीं यष्टिं सुवर्णां हेममालिनीं सूर्यां हिरण्मयीं लक्ष्मीं जातवेदो महावः तां महावः जातवेदो लक्ष्मीमनपगामिनीं यस्यां हिरण्यं प्रभूतं गावो दास्योऽस्मान् विन्देयं पुरुषानहम् यः शुचिप्रयतो भूत्वा जुहुयादाड्यमन्वहम् प्रियः पञ्चदशर्चञ्च श्रीकामः सततं जपेत् पद्मानने पद्मभूरु पद्माक्षी पद्मसम्भवे त्वं मां भजस्व पद्माक्षी येन सौख्यं लभाम्यहम् अश्वदायी गोदायी धनधायी महाधने धनं मे जुषतां देवी सर्वकामांश्च देहि मे पुत्रपौत्रधनं धान्यं हस्त्यस्वाधिगवेरदम् प्रजानां भवसि माता आयुष्मन्तं करोतु माम् धनमग्निर्धनं वायुर्धनं सूर्यो धनं वसुः धनमिन्द्रो बृहस्पतिर्वरुणं धनमश्नुते वैनतेय सोमं पिबतु वृत्रः सोमं धनस्य सोमिनो मह्यं ददातु सोमिनः न क्रोधो न च माश्चर्यं न लोभो न शुभामतिः भवन्ति कृतपुण्यानां भक्तानां श्रीसूक्तं जपेश्चदा वर्षं तु ते विभावरी दिवो अभ्रस्य विद्युतः रोहं तु सर्वबीजान्यवः ब्रह्मद्विषोजहि पद्मप्रिये पद्मिनि पद्महस्ते पद्मालये पद्मदलायताक्षी विश्वप्रिये विष्णुमनोनुकूले त्वत्पादपद्मं मयि सन्निधत्स्व या सा पद्मासनस्था विपुलकटितटी पद्मपत्रायताक्षी गम्भीरावर्तनाभिस्तनभरणमिता शुभ्रवस्त्रोत्तरीय लक्ष्मीर्दिव्यै गजेन्द्रै मणिघनखचितैः स्नापिता हेमकुम्भैः नित्यं सा पद्महस्ता मम वसतु गृहे सर्वमाङ्गल्ययुक्ता लक्ष्मीं क्षीरसमुद्रराजतनयां श्रीरङ्गधामेश्वरीं दासीभूतसमस्तदेववनितां लोकैकदीपाङ्कुराम् श्रीमन्मन्दकटाक्षलब्धविभवद्ब्रह्मेन्द्रगङ्गाधरां वां त्रैलोक्यकुटुम्बिनीं सरसिजां वन्दे मुकुन्दप्रियां सिद्धलक्ष्मीर्मोक्षलक्ष्मीर्जयलक्ष्मी सरस्वती श्रीलक्ष्मीर्वरलक्ष्मीश्च प्रसन्ना मम सर्वदा वराङ्कुशौपासमभीतिमुद्रां करैर्वहन्तीं कमलासनस्तां बालार्ककोटिप्रतिभां त्रिनेत्रां भजेऽहमाम्बां जगदीश्वरीं त्वाम् सर्वमङ्गलमाङ्गल्ये शिवे सर्वार्थसाधिके शरण्ये त्र्यम्बके देवी नारायणी नमोऽस्तुते नारायणी नमोऽस्तुते नारायणी नमोऽस्तुते सरसिजनिलये सरोजहस्ते धवलतरां सुगन्धमाल्यशोभे भगवति हरिवल्लभे मनोज्ञे त्रिभुवनभूतिकरि प्रसीद मह्यम् विष्णुपत्नीं क्षमां देवीं माधवीं माधवप्रियां विष्णु प्रियसखीं देवीं नमाम्यच्युतवल्लभाम् ॐ महालक्ष्मी च विद्महे विष्णुपत्नी च धीमहि तन्नो लक्ष्मी प्रचोदयात् श्रीवत्सस्यमायुष्यमारोग्यमाविधात् पवमानं महीयते धनं धान्यं पशुं बहुपुत्रलाभं शतसंवत्सरं दीर्घमायुः ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः मेधासूक्तम् ॐ यश्चन्दसां वृषभो विश्वरूपः छन्दोभ्योऽदमृता सम्बभूव समेन्द्रो मेधया स्पृणोतु अमृतस्य देवधारणो भूयासं शरीरं मे विचर्षणं जिह्वा मे मधुमत्तमा कर्णाभ्यां भूरि विश्रुमं ब्रह्मण कोशोऽसि मेधया पिहितः कृतं मे गोपाय ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः ॐ मेधा देवी जुषमान ॐ मेधा देवी जुषमाना आगा विश्वाची भद्रासु मनस्यमाना त्वया जुष्टानुदमाना दुरुक्तान् बृहद्वदेम विदधे सुवीराः त्वया जुष्टऋषिर्भवति देवि त्वया ब्रह्मा गतश्रीरुतस्त्वया त्वया जुष्टश्चित्रं विन्दते वसुषानो जुषश्वद्रविणो न मेधे मेधां मयिन्द्रो ददातु मेधां देवी सरस्वती मेधां मे अश्विना उभावा दत्तां पुष्करस्रजा अप्सरासु च या मेधा गन्धर्वेषु च यन्मनः दैवीं मेधा सरस्वती सा मां मेधा सुरभिर्जुषतागु स्वाहा आमां मेधा सुरभिर्विश्वरूपा हिरण्यवर्णा जगति जगम्या ऊर्जस्वती पयसा पिन्वमाना सा मां मेधा सुप्रतीकाजुषन्ताम् मयि मेधां मयि प्रजां मयि अग्निस्तेजोद्वदातु मयि मेधां मयि प्रजां मयि इन्द्रियं ददातु मयि मेधां मयि प्रजां मयि सूर्यो प्राजो ददातु ॐ हंसाय विद्महे परमहंसाय धीमहि तन्नो हंस प्रचोदयात् ॐ यश्चन्द्रशां वृषभो विश्वरूपः छन्दोभ्योदमृता सम्बभूव समेन्द्रो मेधया शृणोतु अमृतस्य देवधारणो भूयासं शरीरं मे विचर्षणं जिह्वा मे मधुमत्तमा कर्णाभ्यां भूरि विश्रुमं ब्रह्मण कोशोऽसि मेधया पिहितः श्रुतं मे गोपाय ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः ॐ वेदात्मनाय विद्महे हिरण्यगर्भाय धीमहि तन्नो ब्रह्म प्रचोदयात् नारायण सूक्त ॐ दाता पुरस्ताद्यमुदा जहार शक्र प्रविद्वान् प्रदितश्च तस्रः तमेवं विद्वान् अमृत इह भवति नान्यः पन्थ अयनाय विद्यते सहस्रशीर्षं देवं विश्वाक्षं विश्वसम्भुवं विश्वं नारायणं देवमक्षरं परमं पदं विश्वतत्परमान् नित्यं विश्वं नारायणगुं हरिं विश्वमेवेदं पुरुषस्तद्विश्वमुपजीवति पतिं विश्वत्सात्मेश्वरगुं शाश्वतगुं शिवमच्युतं नारायणं महाज्ञेयं विश्वात्मानं परायणं नारायण परो ज्योतिरात्मा नारायण परः नारायण परं ब्रह्म तत्त्वं नारायण परः नारायण परो ध्याता ध्यानं नारायण परः यच्च किञ्चित् जगत् सर्वं दृश्यते श्रूयतेऽपि वा अन्तर्बहिश्च तत्सर्वं व्याप्य नारायण स्थितः अनन्तमव्ययं कविगुं समुद्रेऽन्तं विश्वसम्भुवम् पद्मकोशप्रतीकासगुं हृदयं चाप्यधोमुखम् अधोनिष्ट्यास्यान्ते नाभ्यामुपरि तिष्ठति ज्वालमालाकुलं भाति विश्वस्यायतनं महत् संततगुं शिलाभिस्तुलम्बत्याकोशसन्निभम् तस्यां ते सुशिरगुं सूक्ष्मं तस्मिन् सर्वं प्रतिष्ठितम् तस्य मध्ये महानग्निर्विश्वाच्युर्विश्वतोमुखः सोऽग्रभुग्विभजं तिष्ठन्नाहारमजरः कविः तिर्यगूर्ध्वमदस्सायीरस्मयस्तस्य सन्तता सन्तापयति स्वं देहमापादतलमस्तकः तस्य मध्ये वह्निशिखा अनीयोर्ध्वा व्यवस्थितः नीलतो यदमध्यस्था विद्युल्लेखे बभास्वर नीवारसूकवत्तन्वी पीताभास्वत्यनुपमा तस्या शिखाया मध्ये परमात्मा व्यवस्थितः स ब्रह्मः स शिवः स हरिः सेन्द्रः सोऽक्षरः परमस्वराट् ऋतगुं सत्यं परं ब्रह्म पुरुषं कृष्णपिङ्गलम् ऊर्ध्वरेतं विरूपाक्षं विश्वरूपाय वै नमो नमः ॐ नारायणाय विद्महे वासुदेवाय धीमहि तन्नो विष्णुः प्रचोदयात् ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः मन्त्रपुष्पम् ॐ योपां पुष्पं वेद पुष्पवान् प्रजावान् पशुमान् भवति य एवं वेद योपामायतनं वेद आयतनवान् भवति चन्द्रमा वा अपां पुष्पं पुष्पवान् प्रजावान् पशुमान् भवति य एवं वेद योपामायतनं वेद आयतनवान् भवति अग्निर्वा अपामायतनम् आयतनवान् भवति योऽग्नेरायतनं वेद आयतनवान् भवति आपो वा अग्नेरायतनम् आयतनवान् भवति य एवं वेद योपामायतनं वेद आयतनवान् भवति वायुर्वा अपामायतनम् आयतनवान् भवति यो वायोरायतनं वेद आयतनवान् भवति आपो वै वायोरायतनम् आयतनवान् भवति य एवं वेद योपामायतनं वेद आयतनवान् भवति असौ वै तपन्नपामायतनम् आयतनवान् भवति यो मुष्यतपत आयतनं वेद आयतनवान् भवति आपो वा अमुष्यतपत आयतनवान् भवति य एवं वेद योपामायतनं वेद आयतनवान् भवति चन्द्रमा वा अपामायतनम् आयतनवान् भवति यश्चन्द्रमस आयतनं वेद आयतनवान् भवति आपो वै चन्द्रमस आयतनम् आयतनवान् भवति य एवं वेद योपामायतनं वेद आयतनवान् भवति नक्षत्राणि वा अपामायतनम् आयतनवान् भवति यो नक्षत्राणामायतनं वेद आयतनवान् भवति आपो वै नक्षत्राणामायतनम् आयतनवान् भवति य एवं वेद योपामायतनं वेद आयतनवान् भवति पर्जन्यो वा अपामायतनम् आयतनवान् भवति यः पर्जन्यस्यायतनं वेद आयतनवान् भवति आपो वै पर्जन्यस्यायतनम् आयतनवान् भवति य एवं वेद योपामायतनं वेद आयतनवान् भवति संवत्सरो वा अपामायतनम् आयतनवान् भवति यः संवत्सरस्यायतनं वेद आयतनवान् भवति आपो वै संवत्सरस्यायतनम् आयतनवान् भवति य एवं वेद योऽप्सुनावं प्रतिष्ठितां वेद प्रत्येव तिष्ठति ॐ राजाधिराजाय प्रसह्य साहिने नमो वयं वै श्रवणाय कुर्महे समे कामान् कामकामाय मह्यम् कामेश्वरो वै श्रवणो ददातु कुबेराय वै श्रवणाय महाराजाय नमः ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः क्षमा प्रार्थना ॐ यदक्षरपदभ्रष्टं मात्राहीनं तु यद्भवेत् तत्सर्वं क्षम्यतां देवा नारायण नमोऽस्तुते विसर्गबिन्दुमात्राणि पदपादाक्षराणि च न्यूनानि चातिरिक्तानि क्षमस्व साईश्वर अपराधसहस्राणि क्रियन्ते हर्निशं मया दासोऽयमिति मां मत्वा क्षमस्व साईश्वर अन्यदा शरणं नास्ति त्वमेव शरणं मम तस्मात् कारुण्यभावेन रक्ष रक्ष साईश्वर हरिः ओं तत्सत् श्री साईश्वरार्पणमस्तु ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः Now the blessing prayer.
ॐ श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ओम् आशीर्वादं ब्रिलियन्स शुक्रपात्रेण गृह्णाति गृह्णाति शुक्रपात्रेण शुक्रपात्रेण गृह्णाति यजमानदेवत्यो यजमानदेवत्यो गृह्णाति शुक्रपात्रेण शुक्रपात्रेण गृह्णाति यजमानदेवत्याः शुक्रपात्रेणेति शुक्रपात्रेण गृह्णाति यजमानदेवत्यो यजमानदेवत्यो गृह्णाति गृह्णाति यजमानदेवत्यो वै वै यजमानदेवत्यो गृह्णाति गृह्णाति यजमानदेवत्यो वै यजमानदेवत्यो वै वै यजमानदेवत्यो यजमानदेवत्यो वै महेन्द्रो महेन्द्रो वै यजमानदेवत्यो यजमानदेवत्यो वै महेन्द्रः यजमानदेवत्य इति यजमाना देवत्यः वै महेन्द्रो महेन्द्रो वै वै महेन्द्र तेजस्तेजो महेन्द्रो वै वै महेन्द्र तेजः महेन्द्र तेजस्तेजो महेन्द्रो महेन्द्र तेजशुक्र शुक्र तेजो महेन्द्रो महेन्द्र तेजशुक्रः महेन्द्र इति महा इन्द्रः तेजशुक्र शुक्र तेजशुक्रो यद्यच्छुक्र तेजशुक्रो यत् शुक्रो यद्यच्छुक्र शुक्रो यन्महेन्द्रं महेन्द्रं यच्छुक्र शुक्रो यन्महेन्द्रं यन्महेन्द्रं महेन्द्रं यद्यन्महेन्द्रगुं शुक्रपात्रेण शुक्रपात्रेण महेन्द्रं यद्यन्महेन्द्रगुं शुक्रपात्रेण महेन्द्रगुं शुक्रपात्रेण शुक्रपात्रेण महेन्द्रं महेन्द्रगुं शुक्रपात्रेण गृह्णाति गृह्णाति शुक्रपात्रेण महेन्द्रं महेन्द्रगुं शुक्रपात्रेण गृह्णाति महेन्द्रमिति महा इन्द्रम् शुक्रपात्रेण गृह्णाति गृह्णाति शुक्रपात्रेण गृह्णाति यजमाने यजमाने गृह्णाति शुक्रपात्रेण गृह्णाति यजमाने शुक्रपात्रेणेति शुक्रपात्रेण गृह्णाति यजमाने यजमाने गृह्णाति यजमान एवैव यजमाने गृह्णाति यजमान एव यजमान एवैव यजमाने यजमान एव तेजस्तेज एव यजमाने यजमान एव तेजः एव तेजस्तेज एवैव तेजो ददाति तेज एवैव तेजो ददाति तेजो ददाति तेजस्तेजो ददाति दधातीति दधाति ॐ
Om Shri Sai Ram. We'll be moving on to the experience sharing section. So today, the Sri Satsang Global Council USA Region 4 is blessed to have with us Dr. Vineet Bastoia as our guest speaker on the auspicious occasion of the New Year Satsang. To give a brief introduction on him, he came into Swami's fold in 1994 when he joined the Brindavan campus of the Sri Satyasai Institute of Higher Learning to pursue BCom honors degree. Subsequently, he went on to complete his MBA and PhD from Sri Satyasai Institute of Higher Learning with Swami's explicit instruction to him. Addressed fondly by Swami as Assam boy, he had the unique fortune and blessing to travel with Swami twice to Kodaikanal. Over the years, in addition to having a successful corporate career with several reputed multinational companies, he has been instrumental in the formation and development of the Catalyst program, an alumni-led initiative to assist, mentor, and guide students of Sri Satsai Institute of Higher Learning towards a good corporate career. Currently, he is a vice president at Will Scott in Phoenix, Arizona, and has previously held leadership positions in major global corporations such as Philips, GE, and Fidelity. With that, I would like to virtually hand over the mic to Brother Vineet. Sairam.
Sairam, and thank you so much for this opportunity. It did bring a sense of joy when I heard that this is a way you all wanted to welcome the new year, first of all. So I think that itself is very special. It's a very special way to think of how to enter and get into the happiness of a new year. Um, my pranams at Bhagwan's lotus feet. Every opportunity to speak about him in itself is a big blessing. Um, and then I think this occasion, as such, is a happy occasion and a unique occasion. I was reflecting, as anyone would do whenever you have opportunity to speak about Bhagwan, you would do a little reflection. But at some point, you'll come up to a point that, hey, let him take charge and let him speak. And that's the journey I went through, just like every other situation today as well. From morning, I was thinking, okay, to bring in this whole concept of welcoming a new year in a Sai centric way, what could it be? Many things flashed in my mind. But one unique experience came up, which I would share, and then I'll probably share on a few more. But before I even go to that experience, when we talk about our beloved Swami, um, the word happy and new is so unique to Swami. He's embodiment of constant joy and happiness at every moment when he would move around, and even today when he moves around in our thoughts, in our worlds, in our centers, in our prayers, he's constantly showering happiness. Uh, and there was one beautiful talk I had heard where someone mentioned that Swami is Nitya Nutana. That means every day he is new, a constant source of happiness, which every day brought in a new charm, a new beauty to everyone's life. And that's what we are reflecting upon when we think of Swami in the context of a new year. Uh, as I, go back in the time frame and go back to my journey, um, one kind of a little funny incident comes to my mind when I think of New Year, especially. Not that it's directly related, but I'll tell you why it's related. And this was like way back. I had joined as a student in Swami's College. I was living in the Whitefield hostel. Um, the hostel life used to be extremely energetic, happy, a lot of activities right from morning 5 o'clock till the time you go to bed. there used to lot used to happen. We used to live in a dormitory system. If you imagine like 15 to 16 students in a dormitory, there was a lot of interaction. And in those days, it was also very special because other than the interactions and the activities of the hostel, there was very frequent interaction possible with Bhagwan. We were a very lucky batch in those days in 1994, because in that year, this is like now what, 31 years back, Bhagwan actually was in Whitefield for 6 months, which was probably one of the longest stretch he was in Whitefield. And we used to get a many occasions, in fact, for months sometimes, to go into the Tribe Brindavan in the evening and just be in his presence and listen to him. He would pick up a topic, he'll speak to the students. Somehow he was very fond that year of the fact that many students have come from all over India to join the campus, and we were in the first year undergraduate program. And Swami said at some point that these boys have come newly, and some of them newly they are staying in a hostel, so we will get a chance to sit right in front of him. So that kind of triggered many experiences, beautiful experiences, way back then. Aside from those interactions with Bhagwan, there was the hostel life. So in the hostel life, you make friends, you meet new people. There is activities. Every student would get involved in certain social activities, or we used to call them hostel welfare activities, where someone would be part of a maintenance group, a stores group. Sometimes they will be part of the kitchen group. I was a part of the stores group, so I used to help the welfare society, the stores which ran in the Whitefield campus. Many of you may remember, if you traveled to Brindavan on those days, there used to be a store near the Western Canteen, and that's where I used to help. Uh, but one as kind of a friendly side thing, I had taken fond of uh, l- reading people's palms. Now that's a funny one. So we used to have in my family there was someone had like palmistry books. So I took fond of I read up those palmistry books, and in my mind, in that young age, in my a little bit of an immature mind, I thought I have probably mastered this art of palmistry. And I used to, in the dormitory with other brothers around, I would read palm. Looks like I wasn't bad at it. It became quite a popular thing. And at some point, we used to have this hostel. At the end of my first year undergraduate, we used to have this hostel programs at the end of the year, where they will have like a fair, and sometimes it will be a farewell for a batch or something. And it became like couple of times it became like a trend that my palmistry would be a part of that fair. And there was this kind of a camp they'll get created, and they'll put like a crystal ball, and they'll say, "This is Vineet's palmistry corner," and that would create a lot of noise about it. So now going back to the memory lane. While I was doing that palmistry stuff in that camp, a lot of people will come and they will show me their palm and they'll say, "Hey, Vineet, why don't you tell us something?" And I think some sort of an ego came into me that, oh, maybe I'm good at it. People are listening to me. And this was this a little bit of a feeling that maybe I have some talent. Very mature, I would say. But uh, a funny thing happened. So one day I got a chance to sit in front of Bhagwan, and I was, having a chance of doing Path Seva to Swami. And then suddenly Swami took my hand, and he looked at it, and he kept looking at it. I thought he's going to say something, but he did not say anything. And that day, that thrice session, this incident is in my mind. And few weeks went by. Uh, One night, I got a dream. In the dream, Bhagwan, again, the same thing repeated. I was sitting near Swami, I was doing Path Seva, and then Swami took my hand and he looked at it. But in the dream, what happened, unlike what had really happened, in the dream, he suddenly turned very like red. I know, like when Bhagwan would show anger or he will uh, look upset, he became angry and he became red and he looked a little upset and he stared at me in the dream. Yeah, and then he hit my hand. Now after that I woke up, or whatever the situation was, I don't remember what he said, but I was definitely sure that he was looking at my hand and he hit my hand and he was looking very angry. So in my mind I kept analyzing it. I kept thinking, what was Bhagwan saying? Like he was looking upset, he hit my hand, what was it saying? Where I concluded in my mind was, I think Swami doesn't like this whole aspect, which I keep like in the hostel looking at people's palms and trying to tell their future, or whatever little immature knowledge I had. I'm trying to tell people about, with half-baked knowledge, something about their life that, oh, you're going to have a good future, you're going to earn a lot of money. So I realized in my dream that maybe Swami meant not to look at people's palm and not to do this kind of things. So that's where I settled in my mind. In fact, I wrote a letter to Swami. We could very easily in the Tri sessions, etc., give a letter to Swami. I remember giving like a letter and asking Swami that, did I interpret the dream correctly? Um, but I did not get any answer. Yeah. Um, And then what happened is and this is like after another 1.5 year or so, I was in my first year postgraduate program. I got an opportunity to travel to Kodaikanal with Bhagwan. So this was 1997 and 1997, 98 timeframe. So I got an opportunity to travel with to Kodaikanal. It was a it was an elaborate Kodaikanal trip. So in that year, Bhagwan was in Kodaikanal literally like 4 full weeks, and you know, lot of activity. There used to be Narayan Seva every evening. He would ask students to speak. We got, in the parlance of that time frame, we got a lot of chances to be close to Swami. We got chance every day to serve food. There was a lot to observe, lot to take in. In fact, there was this kind of flood of things to assemble in and take in. Um, it's a lot. But one evening, uh, an incident happened. I was sitting behind another student, and then I suddenly observed, and I wasn't doing Path Seva, but there were few brothers in front of me doing Path Seva, and suddenly Swami took someone's hand and he looked at that hand, and my mind goes back to what had happened like a few years back and my dream and my kind of that small stint with palmistry. And Swami looked at that brother's hand, and then he hit the hand, and I was all attention that something I'm going to learn out of this. And then Swami said something very beautiful. He said, when so I'm saying in English. um, I think he spoke it in Telugu, but this was the essence of it. When you have the blessings of the Sadguru, why do you need no Navagrahas can create any problem? You need to aspire for, or you need to have the blessing of your Guru, and no other Navagrahas can create any problem. That is what he said. Now, it beautifully sank into my conscience, my story, and I realized that Yes, I or anyone probably doesn't have a right with half-baked knowledge to tell people's future. But it also sinks into today's context because when it comes to the new year, many a times we are wondering, what would this year bring to us? What fortune would it bring to us? How is it going to turn out to be for us? And many folks are like, making promises and making newer kind of confirmation, affirmations, and looking for how the destiny is going to take them to. But this group, and especially the Sai community, I feel this most special thing, the most unique thing, uh, is that blessing of the Sadguru. And then with that in your heart, if you move forward, probably everything else does not matter so much because you already have that special treasure, that unique treasure, and that blessing of the Sadguru. So in my life, I learned that, and pretty much across my journey as a student and many years post that, uh, the place to turn to, the place to go and seek refuge. And I recently got a chance to explain how I think this is like a Sai cushion where you can really go and sometimes fail, sometimes succeed, but at all times find shelter is the feet of the Sadguru. And that's the most beautiful piece which takes us through. And especially on the New Year Eve, I would, I would remind myself, and I love to share that how unique it was, that learning in my life, that what a special blessing it is to just have him holding ourselves, all our hands, and all side devotees' hands. The other thing which comes in my mind, especially talking, and I'm trying to connect weave my thought process or connect my thoughts a bit to the New Year saga. As a student, what used to be very special during the New Year time frame was the event of the sports meet. I don't know how many of you uh, probably uh, would remember or have been there, and maybe you have been there. But the calendar in Prashanti Nilayam or the calendar there would run in such a way that every year Jan 1st to Jan 11th. Jan 11th was the sports meet time, and Jan 11th is the day when Bhagwan would come, and in the Hillview Stadium, there would be a lot of activities, and especially sports activities, and almost like a beautiful campus by campus sports meet presentation. But why New Year was very special was that most of the students would constantly be practicing for that Jan 11th event. In fact, my student life and then later on my life as a PhD scholar there, and I also got a chance to teach there for a few years, was always that when it's the New Year Eve, around that point, you're most of the time in the ground in the Hillview Stadium practicing day in and day out for sports meet. There was a lot of learnings we would have during that time period because more than the actual event, which was Jan 11, the actual day when Bhagwan would have the sports meet and there would be like a formal presentation, there would be many practice sessions. Now, these practice sessions were unique because Swami would just come to the Hillview Stadium and then he will sit amidst everyone. And he used to as much as enjoy seeing the practice session than the actual event. And in the practice session for us students, there were this nuggets of learnings where we would probably show him something which was half baked, but still get his reaction. He would comment on something. He would comment on small things like, what dress code, how to walk in, who takes what position, how to really navigate some adventure sport. And believe me, I mean, if you took yourself back in 20, 25 years back, what used to happen in front of Bhagwan during sports meet and that New Year time frame was sometimes extremely challenging. You can't imagine today that such things were done Like I remember 1995, 1996, actually, students did uh, a paraplane ride. So they literally, I think it was the first time someone at that age group flew a paraplane. Uh, and they flew it from the airport at Puttaparthi and landed in the Hillview Stadium. So literally, a student got trained, got certified, flew a paraplane, and landed. There used to be motorbike stunts, horse riding stunts. In fact, people got so adventurous that there was some a couple of years where there were injuries, and then you know, Swami kind of tapered it down. So he said that, you all are taking a lot of risk. Like the motherly part of Bhagwan actually took over because the students were like becoming too much of a risk takers. It used to be adventure to an extreme. So I remember scenarios where like people had done like bike stunts, jumping over 15 to 20 students and then jumping over jeeps and all that stuff. But what we learned constantly was the factor. Like today, in the if any of you are in the corporate world, or if you're um, in any job, people talk about, oh, I'm double hatting, or I'm doing two roles in one. At that point of time, what we learned in the joy which Bhagwan was, in the joy which Swami was in and around him, forget double hatting, triple hatting, four times hatting, 20 times like people will just go in the flow from morning till midnight, trying to perfect one thing, be around him, learn from him, and perfect things. In fact, a few weeks back, I met this very old batchmate of mine in New Jersey, and he was the one who did that paraplane first ride. And he was recollecting while I was speaking to him that what a unique experience it was, how Bhagwan would motivate for perfection. And what kind of, like, say, if the landing wasn't good or it didn't work according to the plan, there was like this community which would like pray for you and come around you. The whole feeling of trying to do things in a perfect way with Bhagwan's guidance was a unique feeling in those days. And as I was telling in the beginning, when we think of New Year, the fact that Swami is that epitome of constant happiness, which gets enthused into us, is such a unique blessing. The Sadguru's blessing of being connected to that constant happiness. Uh, I remember years when there were like this 5, 6 times Swami would come for practice sessions and pick up one event and get into the depth of it. So mostly it would be motorbike stunts or some horse riding. There's another alumni who's now based in the Middle East. There was this year where Swami kept telling him, don't take extra risk, don't take extra risk, be careful. But then he would push himself to the next level and the next level and the next level. And then, on the D day, there was a minor accident. And then you would see if something went like a little wrong, you will see the part of Swami, which was super motherly and empathetic. But as in a holistic way, what we learned at his feet in those years, especially during this New Year time, was that mix of that motherly, fatherly, like a teacher, like a guide, someone who's constantly around you. So it's like almost the experience of being around in Puttaparthi during the New Year, during the sports meet, became synonymous with this multifaceted learnings which we would get from Bhagwan. Sometimes, the inspirational part, like, yeah, you can achieve this, do that. I think people would keep like uh, breaking the different levels of challenges, and then certainly the other part, the motherly part of extreme, empathy and care. So we would see a lot of that. The other thing I remember is, I was mentioning that someone who is every day new, every moment new, nitya nutana, on a New Year day. Uh, how do you look at it? But when Bhagwan would come for the New Year morning, it was a charming poetry. His walk was like music. His smile was like beautiful. He would come in that wonderful stride of his, and I'm remembering like the late 90s. But one thing for the students which was very unique was that there would be also a mix of alumni who would come to Prashanti Nilayam. They used to have a program for many, many years, alumni-led program, which would be a music program, a band program, and a drama which got meshed together to make it a wonderful saga, that New Year thing. And many, alumni from Puttaparthi, I think when they reflect back around the New Year, it would be this mix. There's a bouquet of the sports meet stories, a lot of visits by Bhagwan in the Hillview Stadium, interactions with him, the drama which the students will prepare, which will actually get presented around the 14th, the actual sports meet, and the alumni program which would happen. And it kind of took sometimes more than a month, 2 months or something. It would get ourselves really immersed in it. It would be like it's all around those activities. So that is our memory of welcoming New Year's during those days. Connected to that was one thing which I observed in Bhagwan's proximity was his detail uh, to the fact that everything is done with perfection, especially when the prasadam distribution would happen in the mandir. He would be watching every move, and when he that did people get prasadam here, did they get here, he would be directing students. Once I remember, I was standing carrying a vessel of prasadam to go and give it to the people, and then coming back to the portico, and Swami was standing in the portico, and in my mind it was Swami was so particular about the way things are carried, the way things are handed out, the way you serve, the posture with which you serve, and the humility with which you serve. So one incident I remember, another brother who was right around me, maybe he got tired after like running around a few times carrying prasadam. So by mistake, he dragged the vessel on the portico, and Swami was watching. And then Swami called him, and Swami said, inside that vessel, there is prasadam which has to go to the devotee. When you drag that vessel, you disrespected the devotee and the prasadam. That's not how you treat the vessel. And I remember reflecting on this later, that how particular Bhagwan used to be about such minor things, and it was a part and parcel of his act of sharing love and constantly distributing joy. I think that is what the story used to be. Um, to the extent that uh, you know, this incident also makes me reflect to another one. Once when I got a kind of caught up in a situation in Kodaikanal when I was serving coffee, and I served coffee which went to the brim of the glass, and i- in that very close gathering, you'll have like Swami just come by, and like Swami tapping on my shoulder, and he's saying, "Oh, you want to burn his finger." So that is how particularly Swami would watch everything, and guide in small matters. But as we reflect back on those days, and think of the kind of joy we had, there was learning all all through as well, right? So one thing which you know the way the story goes, I think from a perspective of the day-to-day learning, like I think today we search for books and education and probably case studies to go after, but with Bhagwan every day, the learning of what you can get from prayers, how you can, be neglected and you will learn something, how you can be praised and you can be learn something, how you need to show humility, you you would get it like every day. It was all around. And the most wonderful thing was the touch he had when he came around, he spoke to people, he walked for darshan. It was like a live a saga of beauty, of poetry, of music. It was wonderful. So it takes me back in time uh, uh, to those wonderful moments. But then there were moments which were more potent when it comes to your personal experience. So sometimes, when you are in the vicinity, you are around him, you're like starting to take things a little bit for granted, in the sense that, okay, you're a student, you're studying, and things become like normal, everything becomes normal. And then there would be those moments where it will it will be unique, it will hit you right in your heart, that hey, you are in the proximity of obviously that constant joy, but something much more powerful and much more bigger. I remember an incident in my first year postgraduate. Uh, I think it was one evening darshan, a normal day. Um, I remember getting chances to interact, and Bhagwan would speak to me. But it had never happened that he would, like, he had never ever given me vibhuti prasadam. But when he would go around darshan, he would give a lot of devotees vibhuti. He'll create vibhuti and he'll give it to them, and he will, bless them with vibhuti. But with me, I had never, he had never created vibhuti, and he had never given me vibhuti. That day was special. I was probably sitting in the student second row. Uh, it wasn't the normal darshan. The darshan had got over, and Swami had called few groups for an interview. And the interviews got over, and Swami came out of the interview room and he walked straight towards where I was seated. I was almost sure probably it wasn't me. It was he was going to call someone, but he was looking like, even from far I could see he was looking into my eyes. So I knew it was something was happening. He just called me. I went up and he created vibhuti. The quantum of vibhuti was a lot. Like my hands was filled with vibhuti. And then he gave it to me. He looked in my eyes and he said, uh, "Send it to parents." I was, I mean, in my parents had never visited Prashanti Nilayam. They had never had a interaction with Bhagwan. Swami had never asked me ever about them much. He knew, he would always call me Assam boy, and he knew I was from Assam. But it's not that he would have inquired about my father or my family much. But I was uh, happy that I got Vibhuti and I have to send it to parents. It wasn't that easy to communicate back home. Like, you won't like go out and just call a cell phone and like say that, hey, Bhagwan gave Vibhuti. That As far as I remember, that evening or those couple of days, I didn't get a chance to make a call home because we used to have a slot in the end of the evening in the hostel where you could book to make a call, and you have to be in a queue. For some reason, I didn't get a chance. I didn't speak to my parents, and somehow time just went by. It became a week. So it was normal then that sometimes you're not like calling your parents, and especially if they're far off, and speaking to them for a week or 2 weeks, it was fine. So when I eventually got to speak to my mother, a week or so had passed from that incident, but I'd kept the vibhuti like very safe, and I was planning to send it home. when I spoke to my mother and I said, Swami gave Vibhuti and he said to send, I'm planning to find a way that it reaches. My mother broke down in tears. She was really like, I didn't know what had happened. And almost the day Swami gave the Vibhuti, I think it was the previous day, my father had an accident, and uh, he was actually just outside the office, and uh, a motorbike and a car which were rushing by. Uh, Something happened, and the motorbike hit him on the road as a pedestrian, and it was it was quite a jolt to the extent that he had a kind of a head injury, and he was in coma for almost you know 10 hours plus. And those days with the medical system, it wasn't that great. And my mother had spent the whole night, and two of my sisters were home. For some reason, they did not communicate back. But my father came out of the coma. He recovered. The incident gave me one of those jolts in those days, as I was taking life along and staying as a student in Bhagwan's institution. Uh, Maybe there was a time where I started becoming a little bit too jovial, too relaxed. And I think it just told me that, hey, it wasn't a normal thing to come in touch with divinity. It wasn't something which just happened around the corner and things were going on. It's a unique privilege to be in touch with this beautiful story of Sai, to be a part and parcel of what happens. And all of us probably would realize at different points in our life that, while the journey goes on, there are special moments which will come as like a reminder that he's watching over us. He is the one who is probably holding the reins and pulling the strings. Um, uh, and as I think through incidents like that, uh, I'm again reminded back because I was earlier speaking about a couple of incidents from the Kodaikanal trip. So I'm reminded back. There are moments he would like shrink your ego, and there are moments he will also elevate you to a level where you could get inflated and you could feel really proud. With Swami, both happened sometimes very close to each other, and in few days. And he really knew how to play these two levers very well. And I, I think Krishna told Arjuna that you need to be a sthita prajna, like almost like equipoised in happy moments and sad moments. With Bhagwan, you literally learned. He would teach you that. In one of the Korea trips, there was this moment where uh, we knew like there was this pattern. We knew that there would be a day like in the first 4 or 5 days where Swami would ask everyone to sing. So there was an opportunity to show your singing talent, and if you do a good job, though there were very recognized beautiful singers, you stand a chance as well. Like he may just like your singing, and you would probably also catch on. Or you will get at least in Kodaikanal a lot of chance to prepare. So all of us silently practiced at least one or two bhajans or some songs which uh, we could sing the day it happens that Swami will have this session where he would ask everybody um, to sing. And in fact, there were few of the brothers who came from Kerala, and they really practiced a lot. They knew the uh, some songs beyond the normal bhajans, and some beautiful songs. Uh, I somehow didn't have the singing talent much in me, but I thought this is the opportunity. I should also practice, and if I get a chance, I would sing in front of him. And I had this uh, this bhajan Janani Ma Sai Janani Ma, and I practiced that a lot. And I thought, okay, the day Swami says sing, I would probably sing this bhajan. Um, one day came and then he said, "Oh, today I want to listen to everyone singing. Everybody can sing." And then someone got a harmonium, but he said, "If someone is not confident, just sing." But so the session went on, and everyone showed their best of the talent. And at some point, it came to me, and I think I did a very shoddy job. But Bhagwan said, uh, "This is not for you. You should not sing." I took it like a little. I was a little sad though, because the Swami said, like in Hindi, he said, uh, "तुम singing नहीं कर सकता है, and don't do it." The translation is that don't try this. This is not your forte. So I kept the singing part aside. In the same, so my ego got a little bit, crushed, and I was. But in the same trip, he also took care of the fact that there were other moments where I would feel happy. I got an opportunity to speak, which I think I didn't do a very good job, but he motivated me a lot. But the most enchanting day for me, and it remains as a very happy moment for me. Even today, I always smile when I think of that day. Was a day when he said, "Today we will have a debating competition." And he said, "Okay, let's divide the group, like students, into two teams who all want to participate in a debate." I wasn't sure that I wanted to participate, but he said, "Assam boy, you also debate." So I said, "Okay." And then that somehow we landed with a topic. It was a very interesting topic. The debate happened on the topic of the difference between individual discrimination and fundamental discrimination. And there was a group which talked about individual discrimination and another group which talked of fundamental discrimination. And that is the debate. I don't remember all the nitty gritties, but why it was very interesting is the amount of motivation I got from Bhagwan, and the whenever I would speak, he would smile, and then he would say, "Oh, very good points." And then at the end of almost for 45 minutes to an hour, and like there were like great speakers, um, uh, and I think some of you may have heard some of the speakers in various public forums. There was a gentleman who was later the band leader, Dibya Jyoti Das. He was there in the trip, and there was this gentleman, Deepak Anand. They were like quoting from mythology, and my knowledge of mythology wasn't so good. But I think whatever points I spoke, the amount of motivation and love I got from Swami, it made me forget my bad singing experience, and this one. So these kind of things would happen in quite a bit. Um, and the learning from those things was again and again the thing that, hey, if it's whether it's a small thing like serving coffee or serving prasadam, for Bhagwan it was never a small thing. It was always a very important thing. Someone may think of it like, oh, what's, or it is like, sitting in front of a lot of dignitaries and singing or having a debate or having a speaking opportunity. There were always this beautiful lessons which will come by. There was always learnings and lessons, but at the center of it all was this, his presence emanated that joy and that happiness, which I think is the legacy which continues and goes on, like even today. And many times now when I get a chance to interact either with the students way back there in Puttaparthi, or even with in different other forums, sometimes I get this question that you know uh, those were the days when Bhagwan was around, so there was a lot of learning and how do things move today. At least uh, in my experience, I think just the book of time has turned some pages, but the book of experiences is still filled with so many beautiful stories. And uh, when I get to interact with people who probably have never been to Puttaparthi, never seen Swami, or even like born in the last 10, 12 years, I look at my own sons, the way they interpret things, or a student at that age. It's amazing how that connection and that legacy continues. In fact, sometimes it makes uh, like makes people like us ashamed. That did we really do the right things to carry the legacy? Because the beauty with which service goes on, the singing goes on, the music goes on, the way the Swami's legacy, his name goes on, is is a beautiful experience. In fact, I moved from Amsterdam to Phoenix in Arizona recently, and I've been observing the center out here. It's the Sai Center out here, and I uh, go sometimes. I sit out there. I see the activities. I see the students. I'm like, I used to think. Uh, what would happen later down the line. Things have become far stronger, I feel. The connection to Swami, the feeling of being connected to Swami. For my family in particular, there was one incident which was a little eye opening. I've quoted this in quite a few conversations recently, but I will quote it again today because this happened not in those days where we kind of like just ran up to Swami to give a letter or ran up to Swami to get some prasadam. It was a recent one. We were in Amsterdam. We had just moved from Bangalore to Amsterdam. This was like around 4 years back now. Our first 6 months were a little tough because it was a cultural, a little bit of a shocker, a different culture. We had the kids were younger. It was kind of COVID times. COVID was just, you know, getting over or, between all that. So a lot of movement had happened and we were not very, like as a family, a little unsettled, I would say. Um, uh, but one day, an incident happened. We walked up. We were like Amsterdam opened up the swimming pools for kids to register. In the Netherlands, kids have to all learn swimming and get certified because it's a country underwater many a times. So we went to a swimming pool to register our kids. So when we went to the swimming coach, she said that go up. There's this counter and there is someone out there, and that's where you can get your boys registered for swimming. So we went up. I'm standing in a normal queue, and I'm looking up at the queue. There's a lady sitting there registering kids. Uh, uh, just as a normal course, I observe her and I tell my wife Garima, you know, this lady is very empathetic. She's showing a lot of concern. Generally, what we realize that in the Netherlands, people are very direct. They would speak to the point, and they will not speak extra sentence. And you speak to the point, and the conversation get over. But her conversations were sounding very warm, like it was happening with like 4 or 5 families in front of us. I was just telling this to Garima, and she was like, "Yeah, I'm like uh, just a normal chit chat." And then we go up, and then our turn comes up, and we go to the counter, and then I give the identity card for my kids, and I said, "Hey, we have twin boys. We want to register them for the swimming class." The lady looks at me and Garima, and then I think in normal conversation, she says, "Are you from India?" I said, "Yes." But she had a lot of warmth in her posture. She must be like around 75 years of age, between 70 to 80. Are you from India? I say, "Yes." Then she says, "Oh, my favorite god is from India." Then I look at Garima and I say, "Okay, who's your favorite god?" and she says, it's the elephant god Ganesha. And I'm like, oh yeah, Ganesha is uh, a very favorite god for many people. In fact, I was I think it was Ganesh Chaturthi had got over, and I just made some comment. That moment, I felt something is different. Like, you can sometimes sense it when there's this kind of connection, and out of the blue, nowhere in Amsterdam, where I had least expected, the lady then says, "You know, I have one more favorite god in India." And then I'm like, "Okay, who's your favorite god?" And imagine, I have not told her anything about me. I'm in a normal, like, not even in any party attire, a normal swimming pool in Amsterdam. I say, "Who's your favorite god? Who's your other favorite god?" She says, "Sai Baba in Puttaparthi. Do you know him?" I was like literally taken aback because I didn't expect out of the blue, and Garima was taken aback. And then she keeps looking at Garima. She says, "I felt like telling this to you both, like, do you know Sai Baba in Puttaparthi?" And then I was so shocked. I took my wallet out and I took Swami's picture out and I say, "Yes, he's our guru, he's our god. We know him." So I show the picture, and then she just broke down in tears. And this is happening in a public place. There are folks standing behind me in the queue, and she's on the counter. We are registering kids for swimming. She broke down in tears. She's like, "Oh my God, I just felt like asking y'all, I need to talk to you at some point. Can you meet me?" And I realized that that wasn't the moment. And I said, "I'll come back again next Saturday when we get the kids. So I'll meet you then." And she said, "Yes, yes, please meet me. Please meet me." I go back, and then I was like, I kept reflecting it, like, how can this happen totally out of the blue? But the only thought which came in my mind when I went back next Saturday was we had obviously before moving to Amsterdam, we had gone to Puttaparthi and we had got Vibhuti, and we got some Vibhuti packets with us, and we went and met her the next Saturday. So that day she was expecting us. She came out and she spoke to us. And then I said that, I heard you the other day and I got some vibhuti from Puttaparthi recently. Do you want this? And then she again broke down in tears. And she says, "Oh, my late husband was was a, was Sai Baba's devotee. He would go to India very often. I have never been to India. I've never been to Puttaparthi, but he would come and tell me all stories, and um, uh, he would always pray to him. Now he's no more, and he's no more. And then where he used to pray, I sit and I pray, and I feel uh, Swami's presence. Recently I had a bike accident and I had a fracture, and I kept thinking that if he was there, he would have got me that he would always get the vibhuti from Puttaparthi, and he would get me that, and I was missing him a lot. And I felt like asking you all, do you know Sai Baba from Puttaparthi? And see, you got me vibhuti. And this is how the world gets connected. I mean, it was such a eye-opening thing for us, that you know how everything moves over the years, and you uniquely come into situations, into connections with people, and the same energy, the same feeling, the same blessing, the same joy carries on. And how I was also connecting this to the fact that the experiences which people have today are probably so much more potent, because they're like, there was this thing about Bhagwan. He would, in like, so if you hear like, if any of you went today and you like opened up a discourse of Swami, a New Year discourse, like I'm not quoting one discourse, but I invariably feel that in any discourse of Swami, he would give a lot of importance to the actual moment, the fact that today is a new year or today is an event, right? Like that moment, uh, which is the that moment per se, the bhautika, the actual worldly matter, but he will very, effortlessly connect it to the spiritual aspects around it. So there are actually letters Swami has written on New Year to students. It was way back, I think, in 70s and 80s. They're available in the Sai Media Center if you go search for it. He'll connect the event to the spiritual essence. That is that yes, it's a new year, but strive for true love, God's love. Strive for education, true education, not the worldly. He'll connect it to the spiritual, and he will also effortlessly connect it to the real Atmic knowledge, effortlessly. So it can all happen with Bhagwan in like 10 minutes of a discourse. Sometimes you can just pick up one of Swami's discourse, listen it for 15 minutes, and you'll be, I think no other um, speaking talent for that matter can do it that way. He would connect something which is very very mundane to something which is very potent spiritually, to something which is like at an absolute atmic level, effortlessly, and then he can still bundle it back and make it a unique story. So I realized that Swami would in his messages on New Year, often say that it's the day is the day, make it special. He would make every moment special. He would not mind coming up to the portico, cutting a cake, people singing Happy New Year. Very very common. And then suddenly he's like, and the next moment telling someone something extremely uh, deep, and then who knows, someone in the next row is getting the atmic knowledge, and this all would get so easily connected, in Swami's presence. um, I mean, th- those were the thoughts running in my mind. I can uh, check back how much time I have, and I can share more experiences if the time is there. But I'll just
Yeah,
probably just pause.
there's time, brother. You still have about 30 minutes.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Are you all good to go on?
Yes, brother.
Yeah.
Please keep going.
Yes. Perfect. No. So I think I'll probably go back uh, and share one or two of my other personal experiences which created a big impact in my life, especially the one which till today I've never shared this. I think probably I'll touch on this, and in no public gathering I've shared this. It's a little unique one. So there was one December kind of a month, and I got a call from home that I need to rush back home. There were like a couple of times I would have like missed a summer holiday going back home and not seen my parents. And there was a point where I had not seen them for like 2.5 years or something like that. And I got a call that my father isn't well. He's been having like a bad bout of health, and I need to go and see him. In whatever was the best way to commute, getting some train tickets. It took me 3 to 4 days going from Prashanti Nilayam to Assam. But when I reached Assam, I realized actually my father was really not keeping very well, and he had to be admitted to the hospital. Uh, and in Guwahati in those days wasn't like medically that sophisticated, and you can't get like you could get some care, but not like sophisticated care. But he was having quite a lot of ailments, and he had to be uh, treated for uh, basic anemia, but then also some infections. And then uh, this was like 2, 3 years after he had had the head injury. he was going through some stuff. There was this one evening where the doctor said that, oh, your father needs uh, blood uh, immediately, like some 4 units of blood or something, and his blood group is B negative. And he asked me to uh, go and buy blood in some blood bank. Um, so I'm like, okay. So I checked in the hospital and they didn't have a blood bank. So then it was 9 p.m. in the night, and uh, I had come from Parthi, and I knew that in Parthi, like Swami runs the hospital. The thought kept running in my mind, and so many people get beautiful medical care, and I'm in this, in this place where I probably need to run around and find the right blood bank, and uh, and then I get the like some friend is calling me that, oh, you need to like hurry up and all this stuff. I'm like, where do you get it? They said some location which was supposed to be 1 hour away, and uh, go and get it from there. And I'm like, okay. And then I take it. I rented out a car. I went all the way there, searching for the B negative blood group. Then I go, and then when I reached the place, it was late in the night, around for that town, quite late, around 10 p.m., and it was closed. So I could not actually get. So I rushed back, and I was very. I suddenly I like lost my uh, my cool. I was worrying that, oh, if I can't get the blood in the night, what will happen? And I realized I start praying to Swami that. Swami, you take care of every situation. Why is this happening to me? How come, what do I do? And I somehow like could not get the blood. I come back to the hospital and I go back. And then suddenly everything's look like calm and, uh, and when I go back to the place where the counter was and the front desk and nurses, everyone looked like. So I said that, is everything okay? Because I could not get the units of blood. And then suddenly they're like, oh, we made a mistake actually. Your father doesn't need B negative blood group. He needs a B positive blood group, and we have it already, so we are good. So, there are these moments in life where the suddenly you realize that the whole thing around you is like collapsing and you're in this distressed situation. I don't know what can make someone's blood group change from B negative to B positive. I haven't ever kind of solved that. But for me, the whole movement that things around you are just not working. It's just going out of control, and then you are in this breaking point, and then you're praying to Swami that Swami, please take care of it. It's just in your hands now. And then suddenly there's this kind of situation totally turns around, and you're told, no, things are fine. Actually, he doesn't need this group. He is actually a B positive group. So I've had this kind of moments in my life where like things around you totally swirl. And again, because today I'm on this kind of talking about some incidents about related to my father. My parents actually would for many, many years when I studied in Prashanti Nilayam, they never visited Prashanti Nilayam because not that they were like atheist or like someone who didn't believe, like they had respect for Swami, but they had other compulsions and, financial and otherwise, and they did not come. But it's been a story like today, how our family went through and how they look at things today has been such a 360-degree turnaround. It took many, many years, but at some point it was emotionally quite a drain for me. But I think in the process, Swami taught me a lot of lessons which kind of seeped in bit by bit. And one such lesson again connected to my father was at some point when Bhagwan asked me, uh, uh, unlike many, so many times students they get an opportunity and they wait to ask Swami what they would like to do after their education, or they would want to just serve him, or they want to be around him. People would wait to like get that opportunity to do. In my case, it was a little different. He said explicitly, uh, oh, you do a PhD. Before he told me to do a PhD, the thought of doing a PhD was not even like the faintest, like it wasn't even in the, anywhere in the mix of things for me. And from the moment he said that, actually my life took a full turn. Like I literally got many, many more years to be his student and be around him. But I was never thinking of doing a PhD. But he was so affirmative, or he was like so kind of fatherly in his direction, that there was no choice, like literally, like you are doing it. So you'll have young kids, the moments you would like just go and tell them that no, there's no compromise on this, this is what it is, right? So that's how Swami dealt with that topic. Initially when he asked me, go, you have to do a PhD, um, I try to, in whatever potential was there, I try to actually tell him that probably I can do something else, or I was trying to request. And at some point, I did tell him that, Swami, if I do PhD, it will take me so many years. And my father is not having a good job. He's retiring. He needs me to work. Then suddenly Swami said, "Oh, so this is like Swami's my father never saw Swami. Swami never met him. But Swami said, oh, your father in Guwahati is retiring. Uh, don't worry, I will retire him there. And it was, sometimes Swami plays with the words. So this was one, like he said, retiring, I will retire him there. Uh, it literally so happened that exactly at the place where my father was working in an office in Guwahati, that business closed down, that office shut down, that whole property, that whole facility got sold, and in few weeks, my family was supposed to move out of Guwahati because that whole thing shut down. The the business house which bought that facility decided to build their kind of a a shopping square and a fuel charge and all that stuff. So they decided to build some kind of a big facility out of there, the new owners, and they contacted my father and gave him his job exactly in the same place, in the same locality, in the same apartment, and in the same house. And I was in like in God's plan, the perfection is to the minutest detail. So in my brain, um, like if I take it as an assurance, like when Bhagwan says, "I will retire your father there," in my brain, it was like there wasn't even an inch missed on the promise. It got so well satisfied that my like, and then in the same house, in the same place, my father worked for 10 more years, and he lived in Guwahati. I finished my PhD, and things turned around for the family a lot. So that is how precise his guarantees would be. And there were like uh, I mean, I can go on uh, moments which are probably where he would really like hold you by his assurance that you have to do this. And interestingly enough, con a contradiction to that event, when he asked me to do a PhD and like you just have to do it. There was this other situation where I had finished my PhD and I was this time in Puttaparthi. I was teaching there for a year and a half, not as a permanent lecturer, but when you're doing a PhD, you're teaching, but then you can continue. And then there was a day when the vice chancellor called us, and we were four of us, and the vice chancellor said that we have your appointment letter, so you all can become permanent lecturers here. At that point, again, I called my family, and then my family said that why don't you? This time it was a little different, but why don't you request Swami and write to him our situation, but tell him what we feel. So I had this opportunity where I went uh, to Purnachandra, and I was uh, giving a letter, and then Swami called me and he spoke to me for a beautiful 15 minutes where he said, I made you do the PhD because I wanted you to do this then. Now it is your time for you to go and do other things. But don't think I am not there with you. I am going to be there with you always, near you, around you, above you, below you. And there's a nice, beautiful Telugu way he spoke that, and he gave me a lot of beautiful, you know, vibhuti and care. And while I weave the stories around, I think the personally for me, especially on this day and this moment, um, the crux of it all is that as we welcome a new year, this feeling of being connected to the source of constant joy and happiness, which probably is going to be so meaningful. It already is, and it's continuing to be so meaningful in our life, which enriches our life. Is so important that whether it's a new year or any other day, what will not change is the constant source of joy and happiness, which is already a big boon which has come into our life. And do remember always that He is new every day. He's the source. He's the Nitya Nutana, every day new, and His presence used to be always like that. And even today, His connection one on one with everyone's heart is the newness, that happiness, that joy, which fills us all. So I think at that I will probably stop now. I do want to thank the Region 4 Center to ask me to speak and this moment. Is so late for everyone, but I really want to thank you all for uh, giving me this opportunity to think about Swami, to share a few thoughts with you all. So, Sairam, and thank you so much.
Sairam, brother Vineet, those were such wonderful experiences. Thank you so much for sharing that. And I'd like to open up the floor for a few question and answers. So, let's see. So one question I have is, it was amazing to hear your experiences in Swami's institution, and then kind of some experiences you had with Swami, like after the Mahasamadhi. But then, like, I'd like to know kind of like, more about like what your experiences have been with Swami, like kind of getting into his fold, especially living in Assam. Like, how did you get into Swami's fold, and how was the journey to enter Swami's institution?
Yeah, so just like everyone, there's a trigger which happens at some point. In fact, I was also talking about this to someone very recently. So I was way off in Assam, studying in a school in Guwahati. There was no one there ever had any connections, or they spoke about Swami. In fact, at some point I had narrated this in a Samarpan talk. A student joined us there who had studied in Puttaparthi from his first standard till his 10th standard, and became my classmate in my 11th standard when I was studying in Assam. And we knew each other for a year, but he never told me about Puttaparthi or going back there. Somewhere in the fag end of our 12th standard, he suddenly tells me that, hey, Vineet, I'm going to go back to where I really belong. And then he told me a lot of stories about Puttaparthi and Swami, and how, uh, you know, uh, it had touched his life and how he spent his 10 years in the primary school. And that really touched me and was a trigger for me to come along with him actually and apply in Puttaparthi. It wasn't, it used to be a 3-day journey in train, and it was quite a quite an experience, that whole thing of like getting the admission. In fact, I recollect um, how I almost gave up quite a few times. I thought it won't work for me. I won't be able to do it. To the extent that I gave up while I was writing my entrance exam, I actually walked off it in the middle of the exam. Walked off, like literally walked off, thinking I'm not feeling well, I can't do it. And I walked off and I went and sat near the Ganesha statue. Uh, and then there was this moment where I got this feeling that, hey, why am I giving up? Why? And I was sick, I was not feeling well, but then I felt this burst of motivation and energy. And I literally ran back from the Ganesha statue to the examination center. I think, I don't know if it generally happened, but it was another very strange thing. I ran back to the examination center, and only 10 minutes of the exam was left. And I asked back my my answer paper, and I did my ticks, blind ticks, and I left it in Swami's hand and got admission. But it's I can not just that incident of how I got admitted, but I can literally bet my life that anyone who has had any uh, you know association with Swami in any capacity, it is not your it's not your doing. It is a plan which is meant to happen to you. It's just like there are, he's pulling the strings. It will just weave around and it will happen. And at least many incidents, uh, you know, in my life, I look around and I think like I had never expected I would be in this place. It it just happened, and getting admission into Swami's college was because that's how it happened. But from the moment he probably walked, like physically walked into, I saw him, had a darshan. I could look at him at some point. I was fortunate to listen to him, and he gave me some attention. I think it's magical. It's a beautiful magic. It happens, like the little magic happens every day, they say, but it's a magical story how he has enriched our lives, and just he just is around every moment, right? So we can uh, move off and falter or move away or do things, but he'll just get you back on his track. He has decided our swim lanes, I think. So that's my reaction. Sorry, a long answer to your short question.
No, that was actually very wonderful. Thank you so much for that. And then, yeah, so, there are usually two other questions that we tend to ask our guest speakers during the New Year time. But before that, like, I just wanted to check to see with the audience if they had any questions for you. Let's see. Bella, is there any questions you would have? Okay, I guess I'll go ahead and ask the two questions that we tend to ask every New Year to the guest speaker. So one of the questions is when it comes to we're entering a new year, 2025. Like it, is there any particular message that you feel would be something that we could implement, or something in regards to like how we should move forward with the new year based on what your experiences are, or kind of what Swami has mentioned?
I think what comes top of mind is my first story, where I said, that whole story about uh, my interest in palmistry and then how Swami guided me. But the message he gave then, when you have the grace of the Satguru that is above anything which all the other grahas can do, like all the other navagrahas can do. So just hold on to that. That is what is so powerful, is so potent. And, there's a world around us, but probably for anyone who is in the Sai fold, the most, uh, you know, uh, important string to hold is that grace of God. Like just keep the connection on with Him. I think that's what I would share.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's very true. And then I also just now remembered one other thing is that we're entering you know 2025, which is the year we're going to be celebrating Swami's 100th birthday. So, like, what are your feelings on how kind of like more on like a personal level? Like, are you like how you're going to personally celebrate Swami's birthday? Like, I know in many aspects, like centers, regions, and even Prashanthi Nilayam, they're like taking up initiatives and they're like also doing like where pretty much every day or every week is a celebration of Swami's 100th birthday.
Yeah. And so my last visit to Puttaparthi, the alumni were planning a very big kind of alumni meet in line with what had happened in the 50th anniversary of Whitefield. So that was on my mind. Uh, that we as alumni need to probably get connected and do more, and probably also bridge some barriers. I think that was on my mind. But then beyond that, my recent stay in Europe, I think they are planning. I see a lot of messages about they having a kind of a um, planning session, a connection. They call it the Siam meeting in London. So I think I'm a little bit connected there because my family still is in Amsterdam, and I think we're planning that. I visit the center here in Phoenix in the Mesa Sai Center. They're planning a lot of events running up to the centennial year. So wherever I can be a part of it, I would get myself associated. So I would say that most of my plans are to be part of plans at present. But in different capacities. And I think for any side devotee, um, the biggest miracle of Swami is his connection with you. So keep that on is the best plan, is what I think. And obviously, I think maybe at some point when I was talking about topics like Swami's eye for detail, how he would interact during sports meet or prasadam distribution, one thing which I forgot to probably mention is that um, all these events, Swami would also always connect it back to seva and service. And, whether it is a birthday discourse, a New Year discourse, you go back and you search it out, he would always connect it back to service so much also. So I think uh, every opportunity we get to participate in any service is also a unique opportunity. So thoughts on my mind, random thoughts, but those are the thoughts. Yeah. I think you're on mute.
Sorry about that. Hope you can hear me now.
Yeah, here you are.
Great, great. So yeah, I was just saying like that's wonderful and like glad you were sharing like the one-on-one connection with Swami, like making sure to maintain that and grow that is the most important thing as well. So being involved in all the it's like considered good company, God's company, being involved in Swami's activities as well.
Think of it. I think that's the unique factor, right? And like look around you, and if you look at that one-on-one connection with everyone sitting around you, it's the biggest miracle. I mean, how he is connected to how many devotees in such unique ways, and everyone can just stand up and um, tell their story. I think it will be a story of immense learning for everyone. So I think that's the that's what we need to seek. That keep our one-on-one connection stronger and stronger. So
Very well said. And then before we conclude, with this section, would you like to render a bhajan or want to say it? Would you want to render a bhajan?
no, I'm good. I'm not a bhajan singer, and I told you the story that how Swami said you can keep away from bhajans. So so I'm good with that. Uh,
Oh, it
I
looks like
just want
there's one. Sorry, go ahead. And then there's one
no,
additional
no,
question actually that popped
no,
up.
let's take the question. I probably uh,
Sai Ram, brother. This is Lakshmi.
Saram.
Sai Ram, namaste. Actually, you were mentioning about palmistry and then about navagrahas and things like that. Some people are keen on knowing about their astrological, astrology. They want to find out what is going on in that particular phase. And there are like 27 birth stars, right?
Hmm.
And people have different kinds of cycle goes on, I don't know exactly how to articulate more, like and some people say there is some period where there is like
Some
Saturn going on, like in Telugu we call it as alienars and things like that. During that time frame, as you said, if we uh, believe in Swami's like value-based life, if you stick on to that and continue your journey, it will definitely help us out. But do you have any kind of special guidance or suggestions in such kind of circumstances? How do we lead our lives in more productive way and to get rid of all the obstacles which are like so distracting sometimes
Yeah.
to our spiritual journey? How do we overcome all those? Can you please explain it to us or
Yeah.
elaborate on it?
No, so it's probably a very relevant question for many people. Unfortunately, my answer is not very prescriptive on this because it is also very unique to every individual how their life matters take. Why I narrated the incident is personally for me because coming from a family which was very interested in astrology, and I have a lot of my like uncles and folks who would be very kind of following this very closely. I took interest in it, but in my stay with Swami, somehow I got um, little. I mean, my the messages I got and the feelers I got is that once Swami comes in your life, you just leave it to him and hold on to that. Uh, that connection. I have never, at least in my life, ever tried to figure out when is my Shani strong and when other factors are strong. I've taken it all as Swami's grace, and that's how I've never actually seen those things. So probably not the expert to even suggest how people should navigate if they come across the awareness that something is going wrong with their grahas. Because I just stuck on to my philosophy, which was like just keep it all as Swami's prasadam. Whatever happens, good or bad, he will take care. Uh, it may not solve to your question, right? Like, do I have recommendations on what to do? My recommendation is that keep your one-on-one connection to Swami strong, and even in fact, one recommendation I do have is I've gone through uh, just like everyone else, tough time, health issues, family issues, and troubles, right? One belief which I've firmly had in my heart is that if your connection with Swami is strong, even if you fall, you will fall on a cushion, which will be much, much more easy to bounce back. He gives us that kind of this shield, this protection, this kind of, in some talks, I've called it the Sai cushion, the cushion around us. Not that, we are not going to have troubles in our life, but at least my interactions with the brothers and sisters in Sai communities, that the way, not that they don't have troubles, the way they have faced their troubled times, and the way they have taken uh, the way they have interpreted it, and the way they have bounced back is so different. Uh, in Amsterdam, I used to tell my colleagues as every other day, in the current workforce, you have situations where people would come and say, "Oh, I have a burnout. Oh, I'm under, uh, you know, dejection, depression, the kind of the young population going on, antidepressant medicines, etc." And I look at that and I'm like, yeah, I mean, this is going all around us, is a fact. But then, on the other side, I look at stories from Sai brothers and sisters, just listening to them. And I listen to how they probably fought a troubled time, how they came out of it. One thing which stands out in all humility is not prescriptive at all. I think it's everyone's unique experience. But one thing which stands out about the Sai community is that obviously in a troubled time, they anchor back to Swami. And the way they bounce back is 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 unique because he creates that cushion to support. So I think just keep that on. And probably because you're asking this question, the only other thing I can add is that as a community, as a family, we can be there for each other. Yeah.
Yes, brother. That makes sense. Thanks for answering my question. So
I do
definitely,
feel that probably what you're looking for was something more or different, but
it
that's the
doesn't
best I
matter.
can.
Actually, I just more like a question for
Yeah.
all of us, as you said.
Yeah.
If you are in good company and if you are in Swami's fold, think that assurance comes directly from, like, so for example, today you are the one, more like, between us and Swami. There are some for kind of, you are Swai student, more like a messenger to Swami, and you have been giving all good advice or suggestion or whatever, like it is like appropriate at this time. I think that is the best you can do, and you have been doing it. I
I mean,
sincerely. Mhm.
as someone who observed Swami in my years around him, I won't say very closely, but at least whatever proximity I had, I think one thing I learned is that I don't think any of us have a prescription or solutions to people's problems. I think what we have is that to reshare the joy we experienced with him, to and to connect people back to that happiness, that joy, and that connection is the solution. I don't think any messenger can have any solution. It is your connection to Swami which is your solution. That's what I have always shared. And in fact, most of the time when I have been in touch with anyone in the Sai family sharing troubles, all I've done is I've just listened, and I've just let them feel that connection and that they find the solution. Yeah.
Hopefully, yeah, that might, yeah, happen. So definitely, I think looking forward in the new year, we all should be more happy and more thankful to Swami that we are in his fold,
Yeah.
and will continue our, unique way of communicating with Swami through bhajans, through satsangs, and
And it's
through.
2025, so numerologically it's 9, so it's a
Yes,
good year.
yes, it's a divine memory, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And how do you got introduced to the, the palmistry, like your grandfather? Or how you got it, like through books?
Yeah, through books, because my family used to always have like couple of books. We originally hail from Rajasthan, but my um, great grandfather, my grandfather, they were all Ayurvedic doctors, but they were also like Brahmin family, which was in astrology and palmistry. So it was kind of rooted in our family. Now it's bygone. I've kind of not been that connected with that part of palmistry and things like that. But I just told the story because the reason I told the story is that especially when things like New Year comes up, people are thinking about these things, and I'm like
Yes, yes.
trying to
That makes
guide.
sense. Yeah, yeah, correct. Mm-hmm. That's true. Thank you so much, and thanks for creating time for all of us. And like any other, like if anyone wants to ask any questions or any kind of messages, please go ahead and take your time.
See, Shopanti, would you have any questions or would like to add anything?
Well, I'm so overwhelmed listening to this. Thank you very much. And it really is a lot of food for thought that I have with this. But no, I really don't have any question, but I just feel that this is a great start for me for the year. So thank you.
Thank you so much for the kind
Thank you.
words.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Shopanti. Oh, and I see Kumari Auntie, yes, Sairam. You had your Kumari Auntie, you had your mic unmuted.
It's okay. Thank you.
I think. Okay, Sairam. Okay, so with that, we would like to thank you, Brother Vineet, on behalf of the Sri Satyasai Global Council Region 4. We'd like to thank you from the bottom of our hearts for sharing such divine glimpses of Swami's divinity. And it was such a very, blissful satsang to hear about your experiences and about, the messages you had for all of us. It was truly a, blissful session. And we thank you again from the bottom of our hearts. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Sairam.
Saidam. And, we wish you and your family a very happy new year. And 1 second, let me give this to you.
Yeah, happy New Year, brother, to you and your family, and to all of us. Thank you once again.
Thank you. This was for me a wonderful opportunity, and also so beautiful to get this hours to think of Swami before the new year starts. So you made my day, and obviously all of us have a beautiful year ahead. So thank you so much.
Yes, yes, indeed, brother. Thank you once again.
Oh, and I see Brother Suresh has Sairam, Brother Suresh.
Sairam.
Sairam.
No, I just unmuted to wish everybody a happy new year.
Thank you so much. Thank you, brother.
Thank you.
Thank you for this talk. Thank you for the opportunity to participate. It was wonderful listening to Vineet here. Reminiscence about his days with Swami and all the good feelings and thoughts.
Thank you, Suresh. See you soon in the new year.
I'm sure.
Thank you, Brother Suresh. And yeah, thank you so much, Brother Vineet, once again. And we'll go ahead and move on to the bhajans. We'll be starting off with 3 ohms, followed by Ganapati Pradna and the Saya Stotram, and then we'll move on to the bhajans. Shri Gurupyo Namaha Harihi Om. Om Gananam Tva Ganapati Gum Havamahe Kavim Kavinam Upamashravastamam Jyestarajam Brahmanam Brahmanaspata Anashunvannoti Dissita Satanam Prano Devi Saraswati Vajebirvajanivati Dinama Vitrayavatu Ganeshaya Namaha Saraswati Namaha Shri Gurupyo Namaha Harihi Om. ॐ भूर्भुवस्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गोर्देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवस्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गोर्देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवस्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गोर्देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् ॐ साईश्वराय विद्महे सत्यदेवाय धीमहि तन्नः सर्वः प्रचोदयात् साई रामाय विद्महे आत्मा रामाय धीमहि तन्नो बाबा प्रचोदयात् ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः. Sai Rama, if you please repeat after me. O Lord,
O Lord,
take my love,
take my love,
let it flow
in
in full devotion
full devotion
to thee.
to thee.
O Lord,
O Lord,
take my hands,
take my hands,
let them work
unceasingly
for thee.
for thee.
O Lord,
O Lord,
take my soul,
take my soul,
let merge in
perfect oneness
with thee.
with thee.
O Lord,
O Lord,
take my mind,
take my mind,
let my thoughts
let my thoughts
be in tune
be in tune
with thee.
with thee.
O Lord,
O Lord,
take my everything,
take my everything,
and let me be an instrument for thee.
for thee.
शरणं शरणं पाहि गजाननं शरणं शरणं पाहि गजाननं विघ्नविनाशक गणनादं विघ्नविनाशक गणनादम् बुद्धिप्रदायक पाहि गजाननं बुद्धिप्रदायक पाहि गजाननम् असुरनिकन्दन पाहि गजाननम् असुरनिकन्दन पाहि गजाननम् पाहि गजाननं पाहि गजाननं पाहि गजाननं पाहि गजाननं विघ्नविनाशक गणनादं विघ्नविनाशक गणनादम् शरणं शरणं पाहि गजाननं शरणं शरणं पाहि गजाननं विघ्नविनाशक गणनादं विघ्नविनाशक गणनादम् बुद्धिप्रदायक पाहि गजाननं बुद्धिप्रदायक पाहि गजाननम् असुरनिकन्दन पाहि गजाननम् असुरनिकन्दन पाहि गजाननम् पाहि गजाननं पाहि गजाननं पाहि गजाननं पाहि गजाननं विघ्नविनाशक गणनादं विघ्नविनाशक गणनादम् शरणं शरणं पाहि गजाननं विघ्नविनाशक गणनादम्.
Sairam. मानस भजरे गुरु चरणम दुस्तर भवसा गर तरनम मानस भजरे गुरु चरणम दुस्तर भवसा गर तरनम गुरु महाराज Guru Jai Jai, Guru Maharaj, Guru Jai Jai, Sai Nath Sat, Guru Jai Jai, Sai Nath Sat, Guru Jai Jai. Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Shivaya Nama Om. Arunachal Shiva, Arunachal Shiva, Arunachal Shiva, Aruna Shiva Om. Omkaram Baba, Omkaram Baba, Omkaram Baba, Om Namo Baba. Manas Bhajare Guru Charanam, Dustar Bhavasa Gar Taranam. Guru Maharaj, Guru Jai Jai, Sai Nath Sat, Guru Jai Jai. Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Shivaya Nama Om. Arunachal Shiva, Arunachal Shiva, Arunachal Shiva, Aruna Shiva Om. Omkaram Baba, Omkaram Baba, Omkaram Baba, Om Namo Baba. Manas Bhajore Guru Charanam, Dustar Bhavasa Gar Taranam.
त्रिलोकपालिनि जगदीश्वरी, त्रिलोकपालिनि जगदीश्वरी, सदानन्दरूपिणि साईश्वरी, सदानन्दरूपिणि साईश्वरी, त्रिलोकपालिनि जगदीश्वरी, त्रिलोकपालिनि जगदीश्वरी, कारुण्यलावण्य कादम्बरी, कारुण्यलावण्य कादम्बरी, पतेश्वरी अम्ब शिवशङ्करी, पतेश्वरी अम्ब शिवशङ्करी, त्रिलोकपालिनि जगदीश्वरी, त्रिलोकपालिनि जगदीश्वरी, सदानन्दरूपिणि साईश्वरी, सदानन्दरूपिणि साईश्वरी, त्रिलोकपालिनि जगदीश्वरी, कारुण्यलावण्य कादम्बरी, कारुण्यलावण्य कादम्बरी, अम्ब कादम्बरी, कारुण्यलावण्य कादम्बरी, पतेश्वरी अम्ब शिवशङ्करी, पतेश्वरी अम्ब शिवशङ्करी, त्रिलोकपालिनि जगदीश्वरी, सदानन्दरूपिणि साईश्वरी, त्रिलोकपालिनि जगदीश्वरी.
साई माता पिता दीनबन्धु सखा, साई माता पिता दीनबन्धु सखा, तेरे चरणों में साई कोटि प्रणाम, तेरे चरणों में साई मेरा कोटि प्रणाम, साई माता पिता दीनबन्धु सखा, साई माता पिता दीनबन्धु सखा, तेरे चरणों में साई मेरा कोटि प्रणाम। तेरे चरणों में साईं मेरा कोटि प्रणाम। मुझे शक्ति दो मेरे साईं शिवा, मुझे शक्ति दो मेरे साईं शिवा, मुझे भक्ति दो मेरे साईं शिवा, मुझे भक्ति दो मेरे साईं शिवा, मुझे मुक्ति दो मेरे साईं शिवा, मुझे मुक्ति दो मेरे साईं शिवा। साईं माता पिता दीना बंधु सखा, साईं माता पिता दीना बंधु सखा, तेरे चरणों में साईं मेरा कोटि प्रणाम। तेरे चरणों में साईं मेरा कोटि प्रणाम। साईं माता पिता दीना बंधु सखा, साईं माता पिता दीना बंधु सखा, तेरे चरणों में साईं मेरा कोटि प्रणाम। तेरे चरणों में साईं मेरा कोटि प्रणाम। मुझे शक्ति दो मेरे साईं शिवा, मुझे शक्ति दो मेरे साईं शिवा, मुझे भक्ति दो मेरे साईं शिवा, मुझे भक्ति दो मेरे साईं शिवा, मुझे मुक्ति दो मेरे साईं शिवा, मुझे मुक्ति दो मेरे साईं शिवा। साईं माता पिता दीना बंधु सखा, तेरे चरणों में साईं मेरा प्रणाम।
साईराम। धिमित धिमित धिम धिमित धिमित धिम, नाचे भोलाना। धिमित धिमित धिम धिमित धिमित धिम, नाचे भोलाना, नाचे भोलाना, नाचे भोलाना, नाचे भोलाना, नाचे भोलाना। धिमित धिमित धिम धिमित धिमित धिम, नाचे भोलाना। मृदंग बोले शिव शिव वो, मृदंग बोले शिव 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 वो, डमरू बोले हर 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 वो, डमरू बोले हर 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 वो, वीणा बोले साई राम, वीणा बोले साई राम, नाचे भोलाना, नाचे भोलाना, नाचे भोलाना, नाचे भोलाना। धिमित धिमित धिम धिमित धिमित धिम, नाचे भोलाना। धिमित धिमित धिम धिमित धिमित धिम, नाचे भोलाना, नाचे भोलाना, नाचे भोलाना, नाचे भोलाना, नाचे भोलाना। धिमित धिमित धिम मित धिमित धिम, नाचे भोलाना मृदंग बोले शिव 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 वो मृदंग बोले शिव 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 वो डमरू बोले हर 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 वो डमरू बोले हर 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 वो वीणा बोले साई राम वीणा बोले साई राम नाचे भोला नाचे भोला नाचे भोला नाचे भोला धिमित धिमित धिम धिमित धिमित धिम नाचे भोलानाथ. साईराम. राम रघुवर राम सीता राम 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 रघुवर राम सीता राम 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 श्री राम 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 साई राम 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 श्री राम 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 साई राम 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 रघुवर राम सीता राम 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 हे पतित पावन राम हे श्यामल कोमल राम हे पतित पावन राम हे श्यामल कोमल राम हे वैदेही प्रिय राम साई राम राम जय राम हे वैदेही प्रिय राम साई राम राम जय राम श्री राम 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 साई राम 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 श्री राम 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 साई राम 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 रघुवर राम सीता राम 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 रघुवर राम सीता राम 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 श्री राम 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 साई राम 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 श्री राम 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 साई राम 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 रघुवर राम सीता राम 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 हे पतित पावन राम हे श्यामल कोमल राम हे पतित पावन राम हे श्यामल कोमल राम हे वैदेही प्रिय राम साई राम राम जय राम हे वैदेही प्रिय राम साई राम राम जय राम श्री राम 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 साई राम 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 श्री राम 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 साई राम 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 रघुवर राम सीता राम राम राम. साईराम. कंद कुमर वडिवेला कंद कुमर वडिवेला गौरी पुत्र वडिवेला गौरी पुत्र वडिवेला कंद कुमर वडिवेला गौरी पुत्र वडिवेला कार्तिकेय करुणा सागर कार्तिकेय करुणा सागर दीन शरण्य वडिवेला दीन शरण्य वडिवेला श्री साईनाथ वडिवेला श्री साईनाथ वडिवेला कंद कुमर वडिवेला कंद कुमर वडिवेला गौरी पुत्र वडिवेला कार्तिकेय करुणा सागर कार्तिकेय करुणा सागर दीन शरण्य वडिवेला दीन शरण्य वडिवेला ಶ್ರೀ ಸಾಯಿನಾಥ ವಡಿವೇಲ ಶ್ರೀ ಸಾಯಿನಾಥ ವಡಿವೇಲ ಕಂದ ಕುಮರ ವಡಿವೇಲ.
ರಘುಪತಿ ರಾಘವ ರಘುಪತಿ ರಾಘವ ರಘುಪತಿ ರಾಘವ ರಾಜಾ ರಾಮ ರಘುಪತಿ ರಾಘವ. दशरथनन्दन सीताराम कौसल्यात्मज सुन्दर राम दशरथनन्दन सीताराम कौसल्यात्मज सुन्दर राम 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 जय राजा राम राजविलोचनमि गच्छामि राम राम जय राजा राम राजविलोचनमि गच्छामि जय जय राम 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 राम राजा राम. पतित पावन सीतापते राम पतित पावन सीतापते राम रघुपति राघव रघुपति राघव राजा राम दशरथ नंदन सीताराम कौसल्यात्मज सुन्दर राम 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 जय राजा राम राजविलोचनमि गच्छामि राम राम जय राजा राम राजविलोचनमि गच्छामि जय जय राम 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 राम राजा राम. पतित पावन सीतापते राम पतित पावन सीतापते राम रघुपति राघव. साई राम.
साईराम. करुणानिकेतन भक्त सखा प्रभु करुणानिकेतन भक्त सखा प्रभु करुणानिकेतन भक्त सखा प्रभु शरण मिलो भगवान शरण मिलो भगवान शरण मिलो भगवान शरण मिलो भगवान दुख भंजन श्री राम दुख भंजन श्री राम दुख भंजन श्री राम दुख भंजन श्री राम त्रिभुवन संचारि ज्योति स्वरूपा त्रिभुवन संचारि ज्योति स्वरूपा त्रिभुवन संचारि ज्योति स्वरूपा त्रिभुवन संचारि ज्योति स्वरूपा आदि अनंत है प्रेम 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 स्वरूपा दुख भंजन श्री राम दुख भंजन श्री राम दुख भंजन श्री राम दुख भंजन श्री राम करुणा निकेतन भक्त सखा प्रभु करुणा निकेतन भक्त सखा प्रभु शरण मिलो भगवान शरण मिलो भगवान दुख भंजन श्री राम दुख भंजन श्री राम त्रिभुवन संचारि ज्योति स्वरूपा त्रिभुवन संचारि ज्योति स्वरूपा नित्य निरंजन राम नित्य निरंजन राम आदि अनंत प्रेम स्वरूपा आदि अनंत है प्रेम स्वरूपा दुख भंजन श्री राम दुख भंजन श्री राम करुणा निकेतन भक्त सखा प्रभु शरण में लो भगवान दुख भंजन श्री राम
साईराम। ओम मुरुगा ओम मुरुगा ओम मुरुगा ओम मुरुगा வா முருகா வடிவேல் அழகா வா முருகா வடிவேல் அழகா சக்தி வடிவேலா சாய் முருகா சக்தி வடிவேலா சாய் முருகா ಶರವಣ ಭವ ಗುಹ ಸಾಯಿ ಮುರುಗ ಓಂ ಶರವಣ ಭವ ಗುಹ ಸಾಯಿ ಮುರುಗ ಓಂ ಮುರುಗ ಓಂ ಮುರುಗ ಓಂ ಮುರುಗ ಓಂ ಮುರುಗ வா முருகா வடிவேல் அழகா வா முருகா வடிவேல் அழகா சக்தி வடிவேலா சாய் முருகா சக்தி வடிவேலா சாய் முருகா ಶರವಣ ಭವ ಗುಹ ಸಾಯಿ ಮುರುಗ ಓಂ ಶರವಣ ಭವ ಗುಹ ಸಾಯಿ ಮುರುಗ ಓಂ ಶರವಣ ಭವ ಗುಹ ಸಾಯಿ ಮುರುಗ ಓಂ ಮುರುಗ ಓಂ ಮುರುಗ வா முருகா வடிவேல் அழகா சாய்ராம்.
साईराम. अंबा शंकरी परमेश्वरी शशिशेखरी अंबा अंबा शंकरी परमेश्वरी शशिशेखरी अंबा सर्वेश्वरी जगदीश्वरी महेश्वरी अंबा सर्वेश्वरी जगदीश्वरी माहेश्वरी अंबा गुणसुंदरी गुणमंजरी शिवशङ्करि अम्बा सुन्दरी गुणमञ्जरी शिवशङ्करि अम्बा कादम्बरी श्वेताम्बरी हरिसोदरी अम्बा कादम्बरी श्वेताम्बरी हरिसोदरी अम्बा अम्बा शङ्करी परमेश्वरी शशिशेखरी अम्बा सर्वेश्वरी जगदीश्वरी महेश्वरी अम्बा सर्वेश्वरी जगदीश्वरी महेश्वरी अम्बा सुन्दरी गुणमञ्जरी शिवशङ्करी अम्बा सुन्दरी गुणमञ्जरी शिवशङ्करी अम्बा कादम्बरी श्वेताम्बरी हरिसोदरी अम्बा कादम्बरी श्वेताम्बरी हरिसोदरी अम्बा अम्बा शङ्करी परमेश्वरी शशिशेखरी अम्बा साईराम
गुरुदेवाय नमो नमो गुरुदेवाय नमो नमो हे परमेश्वर नमो नमो हे परमेश्वर नमो नमो गुरुदेवाय नमो नमो गुरुदेवाय नमो नमो ओंकाराय नमो नमो ओंकाराय नमो नमो पर्तिपुरीश्वर नमो नमो पर्तिपुरीश्वर नमो नमो जगदीश्वराय नमो नमो जगदीश्वराय नमो नमो प्रशान्तीश्वर नमो नमो प्रशान्तीश्वर नमो नमो गुरुदेवाय नमो नमो हे परमेश्वर नमो नमो गुरुदेवाय नमो नमो ओंकाराय नमो नमो पर्तिपुरीश्वर नमो नमो जगदीश्वराय नमो नमो जगदीश्वराय नमो नमो प्रशान्तीश्वर नमो नमो गुरुदेवाय नमो नमो
भस्मभूषिताङ्गसायि चन्द्रशेखरा भस्मभूषिताङ्गसायि चन्द्रशेखरा पालनेत्रशूलधारि सायि शङ्करा पालनेत्रशूलधारि सायि शङ्करा भस्मभूषिताङ्गसायि चन्द्रशेखरा सामगानप्रियकरा साई शङ्करा सामगानप्रियकरा साई शङ्करा हर 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 शिव शम्भो नटनशेखरा हर 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 शिव शम्भो नटनशेखरा Partivaස Sai Deva Sai Shankara. Partivasa Sai Deva Sai Shankara. Sai Shankara Satya Sai Shankara. Sai Shankara Satya Sai Shankara. Bhasma Bhushitanga Sai Chandrasekhara. Bhasma Bhushitanga Sai Chandrasekhara. Palanetra Shuladhari Sai Shankara. Bhasma Bhushitanga Sai Chandrasekhara. Samagana Priyakara Sai Shankara. Samagana Priyakara Sai Shankara. Hara 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 Shiva Shambho Natana Shekhara. Partivasa Sai Deva Sai Shankara. Partivasa Sai Deva Sai Shankara. Sai Shankara Satya Sai Shankara. Sai Shankara, Sai Shankara, Bhasma Bhushitanga Sai Chandrasekhara. Saram.
Sai Ram Suvrat, would you like to render a bhajan?
Not today, bhai.
Okay, Sai Ram.
Sai Ram.
Sai Ram.
Sai Ram.
प्रेम मुदित मन से कहो राम 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 श्री राम 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 दुख मिटे लेत राम नाम आप कटे दुख मिटे लेत राम नाम भव समुद्र सुखद नाव एक राम नाम भव समुद्र सुखद नाव एक राम नाम परम शांति सुख निदान दिव्य राम नाम परम शांति सुख निदान दिव्य राम नाम निराधार को आधार एक राम नाम निराधार को आधार एक राम नाम माता पिता बंधु सखा सब राम नाम माता पिता बंधु सखा सब राम नाम भक्त जनर जीवन धन एक राम नाम भक्त जनर जीवन धन एक राम नाम भक्त जनर जीवन
ಆಂಜನೇಯ ವೀರ ಹನುಮಂತ ಶೂರ ವಾಯುಕುಮಾರ ವಾನರ ವೀರ ಆಂಜನೇಯ ವೀರ ಹನುಮಂತ ಶೂರ ವಾಯುಕುಮಾರ ವಾನರ ವೀರ ಶ್ರೀರಾಮ್ ಜಯ ರಾಮ್ ಜಯ ಜಯ ರಾಮ್ ಸೀತಾರಾಮ್ ಜಯ ರಾಧೆ ಶ್ಯಾಮ್ ಶ್ರೀರಾಮ್ ಜಯ ರಾಮ್ ಜಯ ಜಯ ರಾಮ್ ಸೀತಾರಾಮ್ ಜಯ ರಾಧೆ ಶ್ಯಾಮ್ श्रीराम जय राम जय जय राम सीताराम जय राधे श्रीराम जय राम जय जय राम सीताराम जय साई राम आंजनेय वीर हनुमंत शूर वायुकुमार वानर वीर आंजनेय वीर हनुमंत शूर वायुकुमार वानर वीर श्रीराम जय राम जय जय राम सीताराम जय राधे श्याम श्रीराम जय राम जय जय राम सीताराम जय राधे श्याम श्रीराम जय राम जय जय राम सीताराम जय राधे श्याम श्रीराम जय राम जय जय राम सीताराम जय साई राम आंजनेय वीरा हनुमंत शूरा
सुब्रह्मण्यं सुब्रह्मण्यं षण्मुखनादा सुब्रह्मण्यं 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 साईनादा सुब्रह्मण्यं शिव 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 सुब्रह्मण्यं हर 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 सुब्रह्मण्यं शिव शिव हर हर सुब्रह्मण्यं हर हर शिव शिव सुब्रह्मण्यं शिव शरण भव सुब्रह्मण्यं गुरु शरण भव सुब्रह्मण्यं शिव शिव हर हर सुब्रह्मण्यं हर हर शिव शिव सुब्रह्मण्यं 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 षण्मुखनादा सुब्रह्मण्यं 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 साईनादा सुब्रह्मण्यं 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 साईनादा सुब्रह्मण्यं 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 षण्मुखनादा सुब्रह्मण्यं 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 साईनादा सुब्रह्मण्यं ॐ तत्सत् श्रीनारायण पुरुषोत्तम गुरुतु सिद्धबुद्धतु स्कंद विनायक सविता पावकतु सविता पावकतु ब्रह्ममर्जतु एहोवशक्तितु येषु पिता प्रभुतु रुद्र विष्णुतु रामकृष्णतु रहीमतावोतु रहीमतावोतु वासुदेव गो विश्वरूपतु चिदानंद हरितु अद्वितीयतु अकाल निर्भय आत्मलिंग शिवतु आत्मलिंग शिवतु परमात्मलिंग शिवतु असतो मा सद्गमया तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमया मृत्योर्माम् अमृतं गमय ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः
Sai Rama, thought for the day from Prashanti Noyam for New Year Day. The eyes should see only what is good. The hands should be engaged in good actions. The ears should hear no evil and listen only to what is good. Talk no evil, talk only what is good. Think no evil, think what is good. Do no evil, do what is good. This is the way to God. The eyes should be seen only sacred objects. The whole world will be transformed when your vision becomes holy. This is New Year Day according to the Gregorian calendar. We have other New Year days according to the practice in different parts of the country. There's no need to bother about the year as such. Devote every moment to actions that will please God. Develop love for God, which will confer every blessing on you. On this New Year Day, I wish you all every happiness and prosperity. The ancients used to bless those who come to them with long life of 100 years and good health. They wished that people that the people long life so that they may lead worthy lives. Lead a long life, happy life, peaceful life, loving life, and divine life. Redeem your lives by practicing divine love, Baba. Sai Rama, now we'll be doing Mahamrityunjay Mantram 3 times, followed by Harati and Vibhuti prayer.
ॐ त्र्यम्बकं यजामहे सुगन्धिं पुष्टिवर्धनम् उर्वारुकमिव बन्धनान् मृत्योर्मुक्षीयमामृतात् ॐ त्र्यम्बकं यजामहे सुगन्धिं पुष्टिवर्धनम् उर्वारुकमिव बन्धनान् मृत्योर्मुक्षीयमामृतात् ॐ त्र्यम्बकं यजामहे सुगन्धिं पुष्टिवर्धनम् उर्वारुकमिव बन्धनान् मृत्योर्मुक्षीयमामृतात् ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः मङ्गलहारति। ॐ जय जगदीश हरे स्वामी सत्य साई हरे भक्त जना संरक्षक भक्त जना संरक्षक पति महेश्वर ॐ जय जगदीश हरे शशिवदना श्रीकरा सर्वा प्राणपते स्वामी सर्वा प्राणपते आश्रित कल्पलतिका आश्रित कल्पलतिका आपद्बान्धव ॐ जय जगदीश हरे माता पिता गुरुदैवमु मरियं तयुमीरे स्वामी मरियं तयुमीरे नाद ब्रह्म जगन्नाथ नाद ब्रह्म जगन्नाथ नागेन्द्रासयन ॐ जय जगदीश हरे ओंकार रूप ओजस्वी वो साई महादेवा सत्य साई महादेवा मंगल हारति अंदुको मंगल हारतुलंदुको मंदर गिरिधारी ओम जय जगदीश हरे नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण 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 ओम नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम जय सद्गुरुदेवा साई नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण 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 ओम नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम जय सद्गुरुदेवा साई नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण 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 ओम नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम जय सद्गुरुदेवा ओम शांति 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 समस्तलोकाः सुखिनो भवन्तु समस्तलोकाः सुखिनो भवन्तु समस्तलोकाः सुखिनो भवन्तु ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः
जय बोलो भगवान श्री सत्य साई बाबा जी की जय।
परमं पवित्रं बाबा विभूतिं परमं विचित्रं लीला विभूतिं परमार्थ इष्टार्थ मोक्ष प्रदानं बाबा विभूतिम् इदमाश्रयामि साई बाबा विभूतिम् idamastrayami. Sacred, holy and supreme is Baba's vibhutim, pouring forth in brilliant streams, display of vibhutim. So auspicious is its might, it grants liberation. Baba's vibhutim Its power protects us. Paramam pavitram Baba vibhutim. Paramam vichitram Leela vibhutim. Paramartha ishtadha moksha pradatam. Baba vibhutim idamastrayami. Sai Baba vibhutim idamastrayami. Om, Om, Om. ॐ ब्रह्मार्पणं ब्रह्महविर् ब्रह्माग्नो ब्रह्मणाहुतं ब्रह्मैव तेन गन्तव्यं ब्रह्मकर्म समाधिना अहं वैश्वानरो भूत्वा प्राणिनां देहमाश्रितः प्राणापानसमायुक्तः पचाम्यन्नं चतुर्विधम् ॐ शान्ति